one program, it will be necessary for you to insert your floppy into disk drive A.
Are you ready for some football?
The Buffalo Bills were undefeated. The Miami Dolphins were also undefeated when they last met. It was the AFC at its best. Second quarter in Buffalo, tie game. Miami quarterback Dan Marino to his new tight end Keith Jackson. Dolphins takes the lead. Jim Kelly to Andre Reed, 16-yard touchdown. Third quarter, Buffalo driving, but Kelly intercepted by Louis Oliver. Returned 103 yards, a dominating performance by the Dolphins.
It hurt, especially losing at home.
I think it gave us confidence that we can play and win big ball games on the road.
And tonight they meet again, this time in Miami. They're no longer undefeated, but they're each 7-2 and now are tied for the lead in the AFC East.
The fact that it's such an important game, I think, will make it different. There'll be a lot more intensity and a lot more emotions.
Anytime you can beat the way you did, you can't wait to face them again, and we're excited about it.
The Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, Game 2 on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready for Frank and Al and Dan and Miami Buffalo? We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the Monday Night Football boogie for you. I bet you're ready for some football. The Bills and the Dolphins are coming your way. It's Monday Night Football and it's time to play.
Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, Florida. A blustery South Florida evening, and there's a feeling of playoff intensity about this one. Could be a record crowd for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins as they go for first place in the AFC East. And there is a feeling of playoff intensity here tonight. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, along with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Glad you're with us for this one. The Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, they played a lot of big games over the years. They play another one tonight. Both got off to great starts this year. They're both now 7-2. Miami was talking 1972 because they went 6-0 before they were knocked off by the Colts, and they lost to the Jets. They got a little revenge against the Colts last week. They beat them 28-0. Meanwhile, Buffalo won 4 in a row. They were really rolling till the Miami Dolphins killed them 37-10. Then they lost to the Raiders. They've now won 3 in a row. They are feeling very good about themselves, Al Michaels. The only problem is both these two teams are talking as if tonight, if they win tonight, they're going to win this division, and it could be.
It's a very important game, not only with the team that wins tonight, Frank, going to first place in the division, but they'll have the best record in the American Football Conference. And keep in mind, over the last 5 years, the team with home field advantage in the AFC playoffs has gone to the Super Bowl. The Bills want to see the road to Pasadena this year go through Rich Stadium. Earlier this season, they used a bit of a hesitant no-huddle offense. They ran off a play every 25 or 30 seconds. Tonight, look for the hurry-up no-huddle right at the start of play every 16 or 17 seconds. They've got Jim Kelly, they've got Thurman Thomas, they've got James Lofton and Andre Reed. It's a team, Dan, that can score a lot of points in a hurry. And even though they were beaten 37-10 at Buffalo, they still picked up 400 yards of total offense. The Dolphins clearly have their hands full.
Boy, they really do, Al. And you're right. They held them to only 10 points the last go-around. And you look for heroes defensively for Miami. And I guess the first guy that comes to mind is Louis Oliver, because he had 3 interceptions in the game, one of which he ran back 103 yards for a touchdown. But you ask Marv Levy who hurt him the most, and he'll tell you it was John Offerdahl, the all-pro middle linebacker of the Dolphins, because he and his run defense limited Thurman Thomas to only 33 yards rushing. Now, Offerdahl will not play tonight. He's going to miss his 2nd consecutive game because of an abdominal pull. So this is going to be a factor. The Dolphins must overcome Offerdahl's absence tonight. Best matchup of the game, Richmond Webb, the all-pro left tackle of the Dolphins, against the great Bruce Smith. And the wild card tonight, a 20-mile-an-hour plus wind tonight. Let's see how it affects the passing game.
Strong wind, but a very nice night. Temperature is in the low 70s. Buffalo won the toss. They will receive. The flags at the top of the stadium, and sometimes the flags, that extend from the tops of the goalposts go in the other direction, a swirling breeze. Stojanovic to kick, and back deep, Al Edwards, left of your screen, 85, just activated, along with Kenneth Davis. And the kick is a beauty, as Stojanovic not only angled it, but got it into the end zone, and Buffalo will start at the 20-yard line. Jim Kelly to lead the charge, 18 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and averaging better than 8 yards per pass attempt, and that's excellent. Thomas and Gardner in their two-back set. Lofton and Reed are the wideouts. McKellar is the tight end. Up front, Wolford, Richter, Hull, and with Parker not here, Glenn Parker is hurt, Farrat and Ballard. And on first down, it is Thurman Thomas picking up 3. The Miami defense, and we'll show you the defense they'll use against the 3 wideout set. It's a front 4 of Coleman, the rookie, Klingbeil, Cross, and Griggs. Then they'll go with 2 linebackers, with Sander taking Offerdall's place, and Brian Cox has been terrific, and 5 defensive backs, including Troy Vincent, a first-round draft choice. Thurman Thomas can't make the catch on second down, and it will be 3rd down and 7. Cox and Sander had him sandwiched. 3rd and 7 from the 23-yard line.
One that should have been caught by Thomas, working from the little slot formation right in the hands. It would have been close to a first down. He took a late look at it as he looked at that linebacker set. There are 4 of them defensively of that unit that Al spoke of.
On 3rd and 7, Kelly throws incomplete, intended for the wide-open Thomas at the 30-yard line. And you begin to wonder if the swirling wind hasn't affected each of those first 2 passes.
I would swear it did on that last one, because you don't see Jim Kelly throw it that far off with a wide-open Thomas for a first down.
I mentioned at the top, outside, it is a steady 21 to 22 mile an hour wind. And with the configuration of Joe Robbie here, there is so much floor space in this stadium. The wind is coming in. It's a square stadium, and it is in a circular motion. And I was asking Pete Stojanovic before the game, Pete, how do you read it? He said, you cannot. It's impossible.
Chris Moore booms this punt. That's a beauty, and a fair catch is called for and made by Scott Miller at the 25. So the kickers don't know. It's a funny thing. I asked Mark Clayton before the game, who plays all of his home games in this stadium, what do you do as a receiver with this wind? And he said the same thing. I don't know.
Well, that was a great punt there, though, Al. He was kicking into whatever wind there is.
Dan Marino leading the Dolphins in his 10th season, having a great year. Higgs starts. We'll see a lot of Humphrey. Page is the blocking back, and they throw to him a lot. Duper and Clayton are the wideouts, and of course Keith Jackson has made a huge difference. Picked up in midseason as the tight end. Wade Sims with Widener, Galbraith, and Dennis up front. They are minus their starting center, Ulanake, who is hurt and is inactive tonight. So Widener, the new center, with the snap to Marino and the handoff to Higgs. And Miami starts with the first down. Nate Odoms makes the tackle, so they get 11 on the ground on their first offensive play and have it at the 36-yard line.
Well, one of the players missing for the Buffalo Bills is Shane Conlon, the best linebacker they have against the run, and that is exactly where the Miami Dolphins hit on the first play from scrimmage.
Well, this game's starting out pretty much to Don Shula's liking, isn't it? 3 and out defensively and a first down on your first offensive play.
And this crowd is in a frenzy. It sounds like January 4th quarter playoffs. From the 36-yard line, the short drop, the quick Marino release to Duper, and that's good for a 6-yard pickup to the 42. He's tackled by Odoms. Let's take a look at this Buffalo defense. A base 3-4, Hanson right in the middle, and Bruce Smith. And then you've got Patton, Bennett on the inside, with Bailey also on the inside and Talley outside. Kirby Jackson and Nate Odoms the corners, with Henry Jones and Mark Kelso the safeties. Kirby Jackson back in the starting lineup in midseason as they sat down James Williams, who plays in their nickel set. From the 41-yard line, 2nd down and 4. And it's Higgs through the middle. He has a first down up to the 47-yard line. Stopped by Bennett. And Tony Page, per usual, 49, with a great block to spring him.
This is a radical move for the Bills. They did it last week with Bennett having to move inside to substitute for Conlon. But, Frank, you can talk about linebacker as a linebacker. That's not true. That's not true. There's a huge difference between being on the outside and then having to move inside where you have to read the running game like this. And that's a pretty good play by Cornelius Bennett of falling back to the inside and trying to strip the ball. A good look at him there in the middle. A very unfamiliar place for Bennett.
1st and 10 at the 48. Play clock is down to 4. Mark Higgs again. Good split move to the outside to get across the 50, and he gets to the Buffalo 46. He is stopped by Phil Hansen. That's a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Miami going right back to the run, and that's how they demolished the Colts here a week ago, 28-0. It was 212 yards rushing, a 100-yard plus game for Higgs. And they discovered that running game, and you think of the awesome weapons they have with the Duper on one side, Clayton on the other side, Keith Jackson the tight end. Both their backs are the 2 leading receivers, Page and Higgs. So they offer a variety of offense, tough to defense.
2nd down and 4 at the 46 of Buffalo. The fake to Higgs. Time for Marino, and he guns it to the 33 to Keith Jackson. Another Dolphin first down. Tackled by Henry Jones.
Keith Jackson has changed the offense for the Miami Dolphins, making his 5th start tonight. 24 receptions since he came here. 5 touchdowns. You cannot cover him really one-on-one. He has unbelievable speed for a man his size. You saw him working on Henry Jones. A good man-for-man defensive back. Gave him a little juke to the outside, and just like a wide receiver, turned to the inside, and there he was.
And the key block there was by little 5'7" Mark Higgs, who picked up Darryl Talley on the blitz. Gave Marino the time.
10:40 left, first quarter, no score. And this is Higgs again. And he is stopped for no gain. Jeff Wright in the middle. Don Shula, 23rd year here, 30th year overall. And there is his record, regular season games only, 296 wins, second only to George Halas.
And he's had a lot of fun this weekend. The 72 Dolphins have regathered here in Miami, their undefeated team, to celebrate their 20th anniversary, and Don's been right in the middle of it.
38 points on opening drives, most in the league, so Miami normally getting off to an explosive start. And they've looked great on this drive to this point. On 2nd and 10, Higgs exploits the hole, but a nice tackle is made by Marcus Patton to stop him at the 30-yard line. You saw the graphic relating to Miami's success on their opening drive. On the other hand, the Bills haven't allowed a point on any of their opponents' initial drives this season. So it's the
There's
irresistible force, a movable object
brace
scenario.
yourself, Bills. There's Walt Corey, their defensive coordinator. And
he felt very good.
Swizzle stick.
He felt very good about this game tonight too, Dan. He said, I just think we're going to play our best game defensively. He said to me also, they may be feeling the same way offensively. It works that way.
3rd and 6, and they bring Bobby Humphrey in, 44, the former Bronco. Everybody goes into the pattern. The pass over the middle to Keith Jackson, and he's tackled by Jones. A first down to the 24-yard line. 4 straight first downs for the Dolphins.
Boy, what a close spot this will be to see whether or not this is a Miami first down. But that's a blitz adjustment by Jackson.
But look at him come off the line of scrimmage, though, Dan. You can't keep him from coming off the line of scrimmage. He's so quick, and he's 6'2", 250 pounds. What a force he is.
Well, initially, I thought he had it. Now they spot it at the 23-yard line, close enough for them to measure.
I think the way they're moving the ball, even if they don't make it, they'll probably go for it.
He did not get the first down. 4th and that much.
They're dominating the line of scrimmage. Why not?
Yeah.
This is going to be a high-scoring game. You don't want to settle for 3 when just a little bit of a risk you can perhaps put up 7.
8:55 remaining, opening quarter. If you pick this up a little late, the Bills 3 and out on their first series.
Number 74 is reporting as eligible for Miami. Number 74 reporting as eligible.
Now Miami driving. This drive started at their own 25. Mark Dennis is the eligible receiver. Marino asking for some quiet. Double tight end set. 4th and inches at the 23-yard line. Higgs back in. Page in motion. Higgs, he's got it. To the 22-yard line, Bruce Smith makes the tackle.
That does an awful lot for your offensive line. Early in the game, your coach says, go for it, guys. I believe in you.
Boy, good work Widener, the center. Harry Galbraith, number 62, the right guard. They're the key guys here. Watch the third. Right to the right of Dan Marino. He's just going to open it up. But that is an excellent offensive line search. Mark Dennis in there as well. A convincing drive here by the Dolphins initially.
1st and 10. Miami at the 22. Under 8 minutes to go. First quarter. No score. Mark Clayton in motion. Blitz. Marino gets it away. Higgs is open. Inside the 10. Higgs to the 1. Whoa. Bennett was blitzing. Marino was able to get it off, and Odom and Kelso converge on the tackle. 1st and goal.
Marino reading the blitz, reading the eyes of the defensive back in the coverage. Odom's looking at the receiver, fires out. Here's Higgs out of the backfield. Look at this move. Odom's leaving the proverbial you-know-what right on the turf. What a move. He is so quick, Mark Higgs.
Bills have not had a goal line stand all season. In every 1st and goal situation for the opposition, the Bills have given up a touchdown. For the moment, they're able to stop Higgs, so it is 2nd and goal. Marcus Patton makes the tackle.
A brilliant play by Patton. Slicing to the inside, fighting through the block. Carlton Bailey in there as well, but Patton from the outside, that was sweet.
That's all timing. You have got to time this perfect, and he does do that.
Look at him there right in the middle of your screen. Look at him fight between 2 Dolphins and take Higgs and not allow him to get up into the air. Number 53, Marcus Patton.
6:30 to go. First quarter with no score. 2nd and goal. It's Beatty in motion. The fake to Higgs. Marino throws. Touchdown to Greg Beatty.
They have not used him down in the goal line situation. It has been Keith Jackson whom they featured down there, and they come back with Beatty. Nobody near him. Touchdown. What a beautiful drive that was for the Dolphins.
But it was play-action passing on the goal line. Normally over the years, play-action passing by the Dolphins has been hollow. On that first drive, with the effectiveness that Higgs had carrying the ball, it really got Buffalo to come up and take that sucker play because they've been running it well.
Flag down. Stoyanovic's kick was good, but there's a marker down at the 6-yard line. Dolphins marching from their own 25 and scoring. That's our first flag of the night. It is holding against Miami. So they'll have to re-kick it. Tom White is the official.
Guys, you give Dan Marino a running game, and it's almost not fair.
And a tight end like Keith Jackson.
Holding, number 49, 10 yards. We'll replay the try.
All right, take a look at it to the right side. There's Page, and he puts the hook. He gets the hook, and that brings the flag.
And it costs him 10 yards. So in effect now, Stojanovic is kicking what would amount to a 30-yard field goal for the extra point, as they'll spot it at the 20-yard line. Still good. That catch by Beatty was only his 3rd reception of the season. 6:23 left in the opening quarter, and the Dolphins take a 7-0 lead. That drive took more than half the quarter. 7:51. Dolphins starting at their own 25. Along the way, Mark Higgs accounting for 51 of those 75 yards. 6:23 to go in the opening quarter. Miami on top 7-0. Winner in undisputed possession of first place in the AFC East and the best record in the AFC after 10 weeks of play. Stoyanovic's kick taken at the 1-yard line. Al Edwards, just activated tonight, brings it back to the 20-yard line. Saxon makes the tackle. Here come the Bills, and now it's time for our regular feature on what's new. in the world of sports science and technology.
A look behind the scenes as sports and science converge, brought to you by AT&T. The passing game is one of the most complicated aspects of football. Now, young players can learn some of the game's fundamentals using an interactive video program. The Laserdisc program gives high school players access to real football plays, describing in clear detail various basic formations and routes. The precise graphics, video, and script provide young players the visual motivation to learn.
The Redskins meet the Saints. It won't be polite when they start banging heads here on Monday night.
No, it won't be polite at the Superdome next week. A suddenly vital game for the Redskins after yesterday's loss, 6-4. Looking ahead to the playoffs against the Saints. A loser by 1 to San Francisco, still with a mark of 7-3. Good matchup next Monday, Washington and New Orleans. Here it's 7-0 Miami. Buffalo first and 10 from the 21-yard line. Thurman Thomas makes the catch, gets a nice block, and takes it up to the 30-yard line. Mitch Barat was out in front of him, and Troy Vincent, the rookie out of Wisconsin, makes the stop.
Such a high percentage play, not much different than a run. Thomas just floats out to the right, sits there, and actually takes the snap behind the line of scrimmage. And one thing the Buffalo offensive lineman could do is run well. Right out front easily.
Here, Thomas gets stopped shy of the first down, so it was 2nd and 1. They kept it on the ground. He picks up about a half yard. The ball is right on the 30-yard line, and they need a half a yard for the first.
This is what Buffalo could not do in the first game, and Thomas only had 33 yards rushing against the defense you would think they could run against, and that basically with 2 down linemen and 2 linebackers. Mark Coleman, even though he's playing defensive end, has been a linebacker most of his career. And you would think you could run against it. They couldn't do it up in Buffalo, and they're struggling tonight.
Buffalo's short yardage set here with Davis and Gardner in the backfield and McKellar in motion. And they give it to Davis, and he's up and over for a first down. Kenneth Davis, the understudy to Thurman Thomas, and as good a number 2 running back as you'll find in the National Football League. Marv Levy took over the Bills in the middle of the '86 season at age 64. He's 64 now. As Kelly to McKellar, and McKellar reaching for the extra yard, plants the ball at the 38-yard line, tackled by Hobley.
We talked about tight ends and Keith Jackson. Well, Keith McKellar missed a lot of action. He was hurt in the first game of the season with that a very bad knee, and he did not come back into action until the Jets game a few weeks ago. But he is one of those superb tight ends also, and he can make the difference out there.
2nd and 4, and here is Thomas exploiting the hole, and Thurman Thomas takes it to the 50-yard line, tackled by Hobley.
12 yards.
This is what the Bills need to get moving their offensive ground game. They have to get a little respect. Good trap from the offside. That was the tight end, Keith McKellar, coming across with that trap block.
1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. Kelly going deep, incomplete, intended for James Lofton, flag down.
Well, Lofton was calling for it.
Yeah, that flag is on the passing play with Lofton. J.B. Brown was the cornerback in coverage over there.
Back judge made the call. Tom White is the referee.
Pass interference, number 37 defense. First down, spotted a foul.
That's J.B. Brown, number 37, working on the inside. He looks back to the quarterback. And we can't see it, but we can only assume that he shoved Lofton. We could see Lofton move.
21-yard penalty, first down at the 29-yard line. Lofted to Reed, and he takes it to the 10. Tackled by Vesti Jackson. Kelly with great touch to Andre Reed.
Andre Reed, one of the question marks coming into tonight. He has been troubled with a groin injury, and they did not know how long he was going to be able to go tonight. And Kelly took quite a shot after he waited. Now, he had to wait a moment until Reed uncovered. That hit from the backside as Lifford Hobley, who connected on Kelly.
1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Here's Thomas going nowhere. Marco Coleman, he's the rookie from Georgia Tech who's been so instrumental in the Dolphins' defensive resurgence, busting through, stopping him for a 5-yard loss.
One of their 2 first-round draft choices this year. The other, Troy Vincent, the cornerback. Don Shula going for defensive help. One of the finalists in the Butkus competition, a stand-up outside linebacker, now a full-time defensive end.
2nd and 15. Kelly going for the end zone, too far for McKellar, who got in position on Coleman. McKellar looks back and wants a flag. There's none down. It's 3rd and 15.
And Coleman, that time, ends up, even though he's a defensive end, being locked in coverage on McKellar. There's the Dolphins trying to utilize some of his capabilities. There he is on McKellar. And I think you see why Coleman's been playing defensive end. And he is not going to be able to run with Keith McKellar.
3rd and 15 from the 17. Kelly flushed out, throws. Beebe makes the catch, but he's tackled at the 9. Well short of the first down. Oliver with the stop, and the Bills will have to settle for a 3-point attempt.
I know one thing going back to that last play, guys. That has been filed and cataloged by the Bills' offensive coaches that Tom Olivadotti is trying to lock up Marco Coleman on Keith McKellar. That is a matchup Buffalo would love to exploit.
And Kelly will have it etched on his mind, too. When he comes up there on offense, he can see that defense. He can read the coverage of Coleman. He'll go back with the automatic.
26-yard field goal attempt for Steve Christie. 2:12 to go in the quarter. And the kick is good. They get 3. 2:06 left in the first quarter. 7-3 Dolphins. Fast down there. There's a premium on expediency tonight. We've seen the Bills run the no-huddle for years, but they're running it as fast tonight as I think they've ever run it.
And you got the impression with Marv Levy that he wanted to see what kind of success they had early. He's not a big fan of the really quick no-huddle.
Christie bounces one down to the 9-yard line, and this is the rookie Bernie Parmalee out of Ball State in Indiana, taking it to the 34-yard line, tackled by Clifford Hicks. 1:55 remaining in a wild first quarter. Dolphins by 4. Football is being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that fresh, pure, natural taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By Chrysler Plymouth, the division of the Chrysler Corporation. By Federal Express, where documents, packages, and freight worldwide. Our most important package is yours. And by Dollar Rent-A-Car, right on the airport, right on the money. Dan Marino is right on the money on the first drive. 5 for 5 for 45 yards along the way as the Dolphins move 75 yards. They lead 7-3. 1:55 left, opening quarter. From the 33 on 1st and 10. Off the fake. Marino drills it. Complete to Mark Duper. Enough for a first down at the 46-yard line. And Kirby Jackson runs him out of bounds. And the crowd saluting Duper, Duper, Duper.
Well, Duper and Marino on such a good sync. And Jackson obviously playing way off of Duper, and Marino reads it, comes right back to him, single coverage. Easy completion.
Marino, throughout his career, 18 games versus Buffalo, 63.3%. And tonight, he's been perfect, 6 for 6, 57 yards. Dan throws, he's 7 for 7. That's Page making the catch, takes it to the Buffalo 43-yard line, tackled by Carlton Bailey as Marino goes down.
Marino looking downfield and has to check off to Page, and that down he goes. Hit there by Hansen and Wright, both on Marino.
And Hansen took a couple of steps before he hit Dan Marino. That's the kind of a play that sometimes will draw a flag, sometimes depending upon the mood of the referee. He's trying to decide whether or not you can stop. If I was Phil Hansen, I would make a habit out of doing that. He's going to bring the flag.
You saw Dan asking for it. Tom White not granting his wish, though. First down, 42-yard line. Marino now 8 for 8. Clayton makes the catch, and he is spun out of bounds by Kirby Jackson with 31 seconds remaining in the quarter.
That's a read again against Kirby Jackson, playing way off this time, Clayton.
Let's go back and take a look at that hit. Now watch Marino's release. Now there's the hit from the front, but there comes Hansen from the backside. More often than not, folks, that's going to draw a flag. The Bills were lucky to get away with that one because the play was obviousobviously over from the quarterback's position. The ball long gone, and Hansen got away with a little reminder that this is a contact sport to Dan Marino.
That is the end of the first quarter. Miami 7, Buffalo 3. Back with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC station. Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, Florida. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. Monday Night Football, a good one. Miami 7, Buffalo 3. We start the second quarter as the Dolphins have a 2nd down and 4 at the 36 of the Bills. Marino had a perfect first quarter. 8 for 8 for 75 yards. To the ground they go to Higgs, and Higgs gets wrapped up on a nice play by the nose tackle, Jeff Wright, slicing through, grabbing him by the ankle, stopping him for no gain.
Here's a guy that has quietly developed into one of the fine nose guards in the NFL today, Jeff Wright, from Central Missouri State, and a player who, you know, lives in the shadow of Cornelius Bennett and Bruce Smith and all the great talent up in Buffalo. But this guy is a Pro Bowl caliber nose tackle.
See Bobby Humphrey for the first time tonight. Good receiver out of the backfield, number 44, as the Dolphins are confronted with passing situation. Yardage here on 3rd down.
3rd and a short 5. They have to get to the 38-yard line for the first down. Marino throws, and it's caught by Bobby Humphrey. They needed to get to the 33. He got to the 32, and that is a first down. So Bobby Humphrey, picked up in that Sammy Smith transaction, just does have enough for the first down.
Interesting gamesmanship up on the Buffalo defensive line. Moving Bruce Smith all the way over to the other side of the line. Take a look at that. 13th consecutive completion over 2 games. Ties Earl Morrall and his Dolphin record.
9 for 9 tonight. Earl Morrall completed 13 straight on one afternoon against New England in 1975. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Marino. 10 for 10. Keith Jackson breaks the tackle, takes it to the 19-yard line. That's a first down. Tackled by Bennett.
Keith Jackson just changes things. They're trying to play man for man with Henry Jones. Most tight ends were covered by linebackers, but not Keith Jackson, and Henry Jones has got his hands full tonight. 250 pounds of Keith Jackson just kicks out of a tackle from Henry Jones. The problem is Henry Jones is not able to help either of his cornerbacks, Kirby Jackson or Nate Odoms, and Clayton and Duper are wide open. At least they have been all night on a little quick out.
Dan, 10 for 10. First down, 19-yard line. Step into his left, throws wide open, touchdown, Clayton.
Chalk that up to the athleticism of Dan Marino. He got out of the pocket. The secondary, I'm sure, thought he was going to be sacked. He skipped away from it. They blew the coverage, and Clayton was wide open, and Marino stayed on his feet.
It looked like a sack, Frank. You're right. I think that was Cornelius Bennett. Watch him come up the middle. Harry Galbraith is the right guard, and Marino gets dodging and moving around, and this is just a total blow by the Buffalo secondary.
Well, Kirby Jackson was looking right into the secondary in that zone defense. Looked like Marino was going to go down. He let Clayton go by him. 6 points.
Stojanovic for the point after. Kick is good. Marino to Clayton. That's only the 78th time they've combined for a touchdown. The greatest pitch and catch combination in the history of the National Football League. Marino to Clayton. Touchdown reception of Mark Clayton's illustrious career. As we mentioned, the most productive pitch and catch combo in history. Marino's been on the throwing end 78 of those 80 times. 15 more than Unitas and Berry. And there's the rest of that star-studded list.
They're working with the tight end Keith Jackson. Clayton is going to have a lot more this year. He will see a lot of single coverage because of Jackson.
14-3 Dolphins. This is Al Edwards taking Stoyanovic's kick from the 4 back up to the 24-yard line. Tackled by Bernie Parmalee. And ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Nissan. It's time to expect more from a car. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
I talked earlier about Marv Levy not being a big fan of the hurry-up no-huddle offense. And this is one of the reasons why. We'll see what Buffalo does with it. But Miami's offense has had 2 long drives. Buffalo's defense has been on the field a lot. A 3-and-out for a hurry-up can be less than a minute. Marv Levy would like to see his offensive team go longer than that.
From the 24 on first down, the catch is made up at the 31-yard line by Beebe. They're running the hurry-up. Evelyn Wood should be announcing this game.
When you start talking about 17 seconds of play, which is what they did last week, that is brisk.
Even with Mitch Farad in there with Clint Parker, Kelly had a lot of time. He looked to 2 receivers on the left. He still had time to complete it to the right.
On 2nd and 2, here's Thomas, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. That tackle is made by Mark Sander, and it's going to be 3rd and short.
And this is so critical, obviously because they're behind, but if they don't get a first down here, look how quickly their defensive team will be back on the field.
Kelly lofting it, and a flag is thrown. Reed had made the catch, lost the football, and now they're saying an incomplete pass. The line judge comes in along with the umpire to confirm the pass is incomplete, but what about the flag?
They're saying that Reed never controlled the ball. The linesman was looking right at it, and he did not hesitate with his call.
Well, I sure didn't see a flag in the passing game anywhere, but
The pass is rolled incomplete. Holding. Number 23 defense with 5 yards. Previous stop. First down.
Troy Vincent, the rookie corner.
well, there is a tremendous break for Buffalo. And nobody's happier than their defensive team over on the sidelines. It gets a little extra oxygen. You have to have both feet down with possession of the football, and it looked like Andre Reed did have possession of that ball.
He possessed it. He just had it in a weird position on his hip.
Yep, I think that assessment's accurate, Frank. But Vincent got flagged for the defensive hold, so it doesn't matter anyway.
What a glimpse of Oliver Dottie. Here's the catch made by the tight end, Mexilars, and he gets ridden down by Mark Sander at the 50-yard line, and that's another Buffalo first down.
Mexilars, another fine receiving tight end. When Keith McKellar was injured earlier in the year, he stepped in. That was his 24th reception of the year. Big man, 6'7", 250.
10:55 to go in the half. 14-3 Dolphins. On 1st and 10, Kelly throws. Reed makes the catch. Reed tackled at the 41-yard line. That's Bestie Jackson, 24, with the hit. It'll be 2nd and 2. Joe Robbie Stadium, home of the Dolphins, and home, of course, next spring of the Miami, or Florida Marlins is the official name, representing Miami in the National League Expansion Baseball Draft tomorrow. 2nd and 2 from the 41-yard line, as Thomas picks up the first down, taking it to the 36, stopped by Griggs.
I mentioned earlier that Thomas in the first game was held to 33 yards on the ground. They came back and lost the next week to the Raiders, who played a very similar defense that the Dolphins have used, and he only picked up 50-plus yards in that one.
1st and 10 at the 36. That's Reed in motion. On a delay, Thurman Thomas tackled by Marco Coleman.
Oh, and what a critical tackle by Coleman. As we've seen so many times in the past, Thurman Thomas will break it all the way back to the outside against the grain, and Marco Coleman was the guy he had to get past. That'd have been a 10 or 15-yard gain if Coleman doesn't make that hit.
2nd and 10 at the 36. 9.5 to go in the half. Kelly going deep, too deep, intended for Don Beebe, who'd gotten in front of J.B. Brown.
Well, Brown let Beebe get by him by about a step, but that would have had to have been a perfect throw by Kelly for the 6 points.
And it was about a yard too long. That's all there is to it.
Davey with the speed on the outside for the Buffalo Bills, just off the fingertips. Kelly having to be careful with it.
3rd and 10 from the 36-yard line. Everybody in the pattern, a 4-man Miami rush, and a fluttered pass that may have been tipped.
I think it hit somebody hit Kelly's arm or the ball when he threw it.
Jeff Hunter, number 97, in on a passing situation, got a hand on it.
Take a look. It's going to come from the right side. Yeah, there's the hit. I think Brian Cox was the rusher from the other side that got a hand on Kelly's arm or the ball.
Well, they're going to go.
Here's a
54-yard field goal.
Here's a lengthy little try by Christie.
At least they're lining up to attempt it.
He's got one from 52 already this year.
And into the swirling wind, it is straight enough, and it is long enough.
Whoa! That would have been good from at least another 8 yards.
Safe to say, I think we know why Scott Norwood is not here.
That ball was into the net.
Safe to say we know in which direction the wind prevails tonight.
Take a look at this, folks. Up in the jet stream. Whoa.
Where are you, Tom Dempsey?
He'd be in second place, that's where.
Keep pace in the NFC East, but these Saints can be devilish in the Dome. They meet next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Steve Christie, who just made a 54-yard field goal with a line drive kickoff taken by Tony Page at the 15, and he brings it back to the 34-yard line. And here's another look at a 54-yard field goal by Christie that cleared it by at least 10 yards.
I have never in my life seen a human being kick a football as far as Steve Christie just strikes this. Ladies and gentlemen, from 54 yards out, watch this ball. It is still climbing. There it starts to come down. It is going to go into the net. It strikes the net right there. That ball is still 20 or 30 feet above the ground when it hits the net. I have never seen anybody strike a football like that. That would have been the NFL record, I think. That would have beaten Tom Dempsey if he'd have been lined up far enough down.
On first down from the 33-yard line, this is Higgs to the 35. Tom Dempsey holds the NFL record, 63 yards. That kick by Christie sets a new Buffalo record. Buffalo had 4 different kickers kick 52-yard field goals. Scott Norwood, Joe Danello, John Leipold, and Grant Guthrie had all shared the record until now.
Well, that was lightning. I mean, I feel very comfortable in that was easily 10 yards. Good by at least 10, which would have put it at 64, and it might have been better than that.
2nd and 8 at the 36. And Marino gets sacked back at the 29-yard line. It's the first sack of the game for either team. Jeff Wright at the 29-yard line.
Take a picture of that. It doesn't happen very often.
And no blitz involved. Jeff Wright, the nose tackle, is off center on that play, and that was his 4th sack of the year. Having a big year, and usually when Bruce Smith is having a big year or Cornelius Bennett, you don't hear much about Jeff Wright, but he's one of the best in the business.
Well, you can see how well he's done against Dan Marino, his 4th sack. And again, keep in mind that Jeff Uhlenegg, the starting center for the Miami Dolphins, is not playing tonight because of injury. I touched on it earlier about how Jeff Wright has developed into a fine overall football player.
3rd and 15 from the 29-yard line. Marino's been perfect. He's 11 of 11.
And the Dolphins
That's the first charge timeout.
had to take a timeout. They were down to 2 seconds on the play clock.
So 3rd and 15 when we come back. 7:43 left in the half. Dolphins up by 8. College football season winding down. The great traditional battle coming your way Saturday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, Michigan, Ohio State. Then second half of the doubleheader. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Headlined by Miami, #1 against Syracuse, #8 this Saturday on ABC Sports. 3rd and 15 for the Dolphins after the timeout. Marino throws, and that's his first incomplete pass of the night, intended for Clayton, and then it's one hop by Jones, who spikes the ball, and Miami is forced to kick.
Clayton was there, and the pocket was closing down on Marino, and he just didn't have enough time. He had to deliver it and threw it short.
One of the fine matchups tonight is Richmond Webb, the left tackle, against Bruce Smith. 78 and 78. That time Smith got underneath Webb a little bit, and he got some help from his center, Burt Widener. That's the plight of being an all-world player. Seldom are you ever going to get one-on-one.
Reggie Roby, who was hurt in Miami's first game, went on injured reserve with a knee injury and came back last week. That's not a typical Roby kick, except on the stat sheet.
Yeah, it is now.
Yep. That kick, 36 in the air, plus 18 on the ground for 54. That shot provided from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based right up the road in Pompano Beach.
A pretty rough ride, wouldn't you say, up there tonight?
I would think. Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, the bulwarks of the Buffalo defense, looking on as their offense takes over at the 17. They trail by 8. Kelly throws on first down, and the catch is made a little short of the first down by James Lofton. And these two quarterbacks tonight have each been perfect throwing on first down.
The class of '83.
Not bad quarterbacking tonight, huh?
Kelly
14 for 14.
Coming out with John Elway in '83 and Kenny O'Brien.
On 2nd and 1, they don't get it. It's Thurman Thomas, who is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Marco Coleman is there to make the tackle.
Well, we've hardly reached the panic stage for Marv Levy and his club yet, but down 14-6, the way the Miami Dolphins have been moving the ball offensively, his offensive team needs to put together a pretty decent drive here, especially with 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
3rd and a yard from the 26-yard line. They'll go to the air and over the middle. That's Andre Reed, who lives over the middle. First down at the 39-yard line, tackled by Vesti Jackson.
Well, that tell you the confidence they have in their passing game with Kelly. With the 3rd down and 1, they still go to the passing game. Andre Reed crossing over the middle. High percentage, and it gets the first down.
6:05 to go in the half. 14-6 Miami. This is Thomas making the catch. And Thurman skitters along the sideline and picks up 4 extra yards before he's tackled by Sanders.
Don't you love to see that? I mean, we have grown accustomed, I think, to seeing a player take a reception like this where his momentum is carrying him towards the out of bounds and just go right on out. You have to love a competitor who fights for a couple extra yards like that, knowing he's going to take a shot for his efforts. That's why Thurman Thomas is a complete player.
I think Lifford Hobley thought he was going to go out. Gave him a quick little juke, gets extra yardage.
And also gave him the first down. He picks up exactly 10 at the 49-yard line. They give it to Kenneth Davis. And Davis picks up 8. And again, we're talking about the fact he's Thomas's understudy and as good a backup running back as you'll find in the league. It's pretty much up to Thomas. When Thurman needs a rest, he signals to the bench and comes out, and Davis comes in.
And not bad when he comes in. He had the longest run from scrimmage a year ago, 78-yarder. 5'10", 208 pounds. You don't lose a whole lot with him.
Here comes an audible.
2nd and 2 at the 43-yard line. They give it to Davis again, and Kenneth Davis, seeking more yardage, picks up the first down, takes it to the 39-yard line. They'll move the chains with 5:10 to go in the half.
See, Kelly gets up there and calls a play among the group, and then if he has to, once they're up at the line of scrimmage, he changes it. Sophisticated offense run by this guy, and it takes a special quarterback to do it.
As you can see, he's not trying to catch Miami with too many men on the field.
From the 39, Kelly going deep, and the pass gets hung up in the swirling wind as Beebe was the intended receiver.
Now that really makes it difficult to throw long. We saw him on their last possession throw one for Beebe on a streak, and it was about a yard and a half too long, and that one looked like it hit a brick wall.
Did you see Beebe? He just pointed up. Look at that. Look at that. He said, the air got it. And it did.
2nd and 10 at the 39. The catch is made. Thurman Thomas inside the 20, run out of bounds at the 13-yard line by Bestie Jackson.
And Jackson saved 6. Again, the crossing pattern that Buffalo runs so well, not only with Andre Reed, but this man, Thurman Thomas. What a deadly offensive weapon he is.
Got a good block downfield by Al Edwards as well, who was just activated. And by the skin of his right hand, Bestie Jackson, just enough to get Thomas out of bounds.
At the 13-yard line, first down Buffalo. This is Kenneth Davis on a sweep. Written down at the 9 by Brian Cox.
At the 10-yard line, Troy Vincent, number 23, also on the tackle.
4:10 remaining. First half. Miami on top 14-6. Battle for first place in the AFC East and best record in the AFC overall at this point in the season.
This has to be difficult to play defense when it's coming at you this quickly.
On 2nd and 7, Davis through the middle, takes it to the 5, and so upcoming will be a very key 3rd and 2.
If you don't execute, this offense kills you in the sense that you can put your defensive team right back out there on the field. But when you put together a drive like this, I'm sorry, but if you're a defensive player, you're a little bit back on your heels. You really don't get a chance to catch your breath or your composure.
3rd and 2, and they give it to Kenneth Davis for the touchdown.
And I think that was directly related to what you said. The Dolphins really not even set defensively. Buffalo up to the line of scrimmage, quick count. They kicked off about 12 seconds on that clock before they ran off that play.
And they're a doggone good offensive line anyway, with Wolford, Richer, Hull, Perrott, Davis, and Ballard in there. But look at this. I mean, this is just beautifully executed. Look at that hole. Sanders cut off to the inside, and you know, that's a situation where who knows what kind of an effect that John Offerdahl might have had if he was able to play tonight. But when this offense goes, and when it's clicking, you look at it and you're just slack-jawed wondering, how do I stop it?
Christie's extra point is good. 3:20 remaining in the first half as Buffalo draws within 1.
Big block for the center, number 67, Kent Hall. Stands up his man, and Davis just squirts through that opening. Kent Hall, when the Bills were struggling on offense, had a pulled groin muscle. He was in and out of games. When he came back, he really anchors a great offensive line. They're playing without Parker tonight. Mitch Perrott filling in there, but you saw a great block by a Pro Bowl center.
Kind of put the old hook on T.J. Turner there as well, but that's a classic. Keep it inside the framework of the body. Never get spotted.
There's Kent Hall.
Fine football player.
Pro Bowl 3 of the last 4 years. John Offerdahl, as you pointed out, he could be the man that makes a difference when he missed most of last season. The Miami defense, which was 8th in 1990 when he went to the Pro Bowl, he missed a lot of last season. They went from 8th to 25th and 27th against the rush, where they had been 2nd the year before. He is a major factor against the run for the Dolphins.
Well, keep in mind that in that first game up in Buffalo, that the Dolphins won 37-10. Thurman Thomas only had 33 yards rushing.
Christie to kick off. 5 yards into the end zone. Mike Williams will down it there. And Marino and the Dolphins at the 20-yard line. We talked about Bruce Smith, and naturally he gets double teamed a lot, and he is a man who commands attention, and the Dolphins through the years have done a terrific job. There are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, you double team him a lot. Number two, Dan Marino's quick release.
Yeah, and Richmond Webb would be the other factor, the great left tackle. But you're right, Al, more than anything else, it's the release of Dan Marino. A quick release is better than good blocking anytime.
It's pretty amazing that Smith only has 2.5 sacks, and Jeff Wright has 4 sacks.
As an offensive lineman, you look real good when your quarterback only has the ball for 3 seconds.
Here's Bobby Humphrey on first down. Taking it to the 21-22-yard line. Minimal gain. Darryl Talley, 56, makes the hit along with Henry Jones.
Mentioned earlier, we are celebrating here in Miami the 17-0 season in 1972, and so many of the players are here. We'll take a look at some of them at halftime, but they have been having quite a weekend.
Yeah, they're celebrating. There they all are gathering in the tunnel.
Yeah. Nick Buonaconti.
I played on one of the teams they beat. I guess maybe I ought to go down. Oh, here comes Bruce.
2nd and 8. The catch is made by Duper, and he has a first down up at the 38-yard line.
Maybe they should honor some of the banquets at halftime, too.
Dan and I were part of that history. That was a Monday night game, game 11 of the 72 season, and it was a Monday night game. And
pretty nondescript, too. They spanked us. They spanked us pretty hard. Well, what a man, Nick Buonaconti.
He dedicated really his life now to the Miami Project, and his son, who was a quadriplegic from a football accident, and Gyro Yepremian. You'll see the replay of his great effort in the Super Bowl that year when he turned into a passer.
Well, the Dolphins tried to get the playoff before the 2-minute warning, but they did not.
You call that a pass?
For a tie maker, yes.
Halftime, a look back at the 1972 undefeated Miami Dolphins being honored here tonight.
You know, we come here at least once, and more often than not twice a year, to South Florida to do Dolphins games, and I can't recall ever having been here and seen this entire area more turned on for professional football. I mean, needless to say, this is a real hotbed of college football, but man, they are fired up about the Dolphins this year, and with good reason.
And they were fired up at the opening kickoff tonight. 1st and 10 from the 37 as Marino slings its sidearm intended for Clayton, and Dan goes down again. Bruce Smith leading the charge.
And Bruce Smith really complaining. I think he thought, A, that Marino was down, and B, if he wasn't, he was just getting rid of the ball. There's Smith. He's got Marino, and yeah, he wants a call for intentional grounding.
He might have had a little bit of a case.
Well, he wasn't that far away from Clayton. Clayton was definitely in the area, and Bruce, that's just not going to happen.
It's still intention, though, isn't it? The referee can rule it.
That would have been dubious. Good non-call. 2nd down and 10 at the 37-yard line. Marino throws incomplete. There's a flag down. It came from the umpire, normally indicating offensive holding.
Yeah, Bruce Smith is saying, I was the holdee.
Who is the holder? Is it Richmond Webb, 78?
Well, hold on, and we'll find out.
Bruce Smith playing, according to Mark Levy, may be better than he's ever played before. Playing the run very tough now. Where in the past he has not played the run that well. Only played in parts of 5 games a year ago with that surgical knee. Wondered, I think, himself whether he'd ever play again.
Holding. 62 offense. 10 yards. Still 2nd down.
Harry Galbraith. Now, an interesting thing here. You saw Levy say take the penalty instead of the play, making it 2nd and 20 instead of 3rd and 10.
Galbraith is in the middle working against Jeff Wright, number 91. So even though Bruce thought that he drew the foul, he really didn't.
Let's see how this decision by Levy works out now.
A couple of things in mind I think he had. If I can get the 10 yards, we get a turnover, we're in field goal range. We get an interception.
He's definitely playing field position. I think Buffalo's offsides that time.
The flag down, and the catch is not made at the 36-yard line. It's dropped.
Buffalo was definitely in the neutral zone before the snap of the ball.
Tony Martin dropped it, and you've got offside on Bruce Smith, and that's going to make it 2nd down and 15.
Defense. Number 78 offsides. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
They put a lot of burden on Bruce Smith. Dan pointed out they move him all over the line of scrimmage. There he is right in the middle of your picture, trying to split the gap, anticipating the count. Perhaps Marino had been going on the same count for 3 or 4 plays in a row, and quarterbacks get caught up in that. And you guess with it. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
2nd and 15, 1:43 left in the half. Miami has 2 timeouts left. Dolphins up by 1, 14-13. And again, here comes Smith. Was he induced?
Yeah, he was induced by Marino yelling, "Hut, hut."
And a little shoulder shake.
I mean, I saw no movement on the front wall.
Marino gave it a extra effort there with his hut, hut.
They have offsides. Number 78 defense in the offensive backfield prior to the snap. Therefore, there's no play. Still second down.
Well, they just gave him the holding penalty back with 2 offside calls. Back once we came. 2nd and 10.
Well, Marv was right. That would have happened. If he declined that, it would have been first down.
Dan Marino pointing out the potential blitzer.
Marino. Beautiful pass to Duper. First and goal.
Boy, that's why they're dusting off the pedestal in Canton, Ohio.
Boy, that is sweet.
Single coverage. The blitz was on with Buffalo. Marino danced out of trouble. We've seen him do it twice tonight. Not the most athletic you're going to find, but there is Duper. That's single coverage.
Keep in mind, this throw was into the wind.
Kelso over there helping out, but after Marino danced out of trouble, was able to get it all the way down.
55 yards on 1st and goal. It is nearly intercepted in the end zone by Matt Darby. 53 seconds remaining. Intended for Jackson.
Heath Jackson's so tough down there. He can get off the line of scrimmage as good as any tight end I've ever seen. You try and force him, try and make the play on him. That time he came from outside, but he is so quick for a big man.
And that ball thrown about 2 yards behind Keith Jackson, and Matt Darby looks to me like he should have had that interception. That's a chance you just don't pass up.
2nd and goal at the 7. 53 seconds remaining. Good protection, and that's knocked down. He threw it right into the shirt of Cornelius Bennett.
I'm not sure Cornelius. That ball came right at Bennett, but it also came right at Bennett at about 120 miles an hour. Watch the release. The decision to throw. Bennett's in the middle of leaping up in the air trying to bat it down and wasn't expecting the ball to be at his belt buckle.
Such a different perspective down there. You know that Marino didn't even see him.
That almost looked more like it was an act of self-defense by the time the ball got there.
3rd and goal. 4 wideouts. Marino from the gun, and coming across the line is Mike Loaded.
I don't know how many times they're going to let Marino do this.
Yeah, the quarterback is not allowed to flinch in an attempt to draw the defensive lineman offside, and Marino is flinching. Dan is visibly moving his shoulders and getting away with it.
He's having a spasm. He's not flinching.
Encroachment, number 73 defense, half the distance to the goal.
Danny is flexing the rules. Now watch there. That head bob, you're not supposed to do that. You are not supposed to get away with that.
3 times on this drive.
Yeah. Well, that was the most visible, I think. That was the most apparent of the others.
3rd down goal at the 4.
As a quarterback, you can make all the noise you want. You're just not allowed to move.
5-man rush, and then Marino, I believe, had his arm hit by Cornelius Bennett as he releases.
What a great defensive effort this has been on the part of the Bills. If they get out of this with 3, they get into that locker room feeling pretty good about it.
Well, what a quick rush by Bennett. Marino wasn't back there very long, and Bennett in on him. He's coming from the bottom of the screen. Watch him get around the corner. He's not going to be able to get a clean hit, but he gets that left hand right on the arm of Marino. Superior play by Cornelius Bennett.
And the defense. 21-yard field goal attempt. In effect, an extra point for Stojanovic to try to put them up 17-13. And he does. And with 42 seconds remaining and Buffalo having all of its timeouts, that's an eternity. The half is not over.
And a field goal kicker that can kick it about 65 yards.
Yes.
I think it's safe to say that Miami won't call a timeout after Buffalo's first play.
No. 17-13 Miami with 42 seconds remaining in the first half. Joe Robbie Stadium sold out. Capacity around 73,000. Spectacular sight from high above the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, providing the scenics. And the area, first time we've been down here, recovering quite nicely and progressing very nicely in the aftermath of Hurricane Andrew, which well, took place almost 3 months ago.
You know, the people have really struggled back here. Actually, this particular area around Miami was not hit that bad, and the resort areas are really suffering from the economy. A lot of people around the country ordinarily would come here, not coming here because they think it's all blown away, but it's not. It's functioning, and well, I'm sure they'd like that message to get out because the recreational areas are in full swing here in South Florida.
And those of us who live in other parts of the country tend to forget that this is still going on down here. As a matter of fact, in southern Dade County, they only lifted the curfew. I mean, today's the first day that the 10 o'clock curfew has been lifted in the really ravaged areas of South Dade County. And I know I, for one, am guilty of having lost track of it a bit, that it's still impacting people's lives to that point. It's going to be years before the devastation is eradicated down here. There's a lot of rebuilding that needs to be done, and everybody here could use our help.
Miami Dolphins, so many of them involved in helping out in many ways. We talked about Offerdahl with a couple of restaurants. He was a big help.
Stoyanovic's kickoff taken at the goal line. Al Edwards. Look, Al Edwards, just off injured reserve, brings it up to the 34. And that stops the clock with 34 seconds remaining. Roosevelt Collins, a rookie from TCU, makes the tackle in plenty of time and 3 timeouts for Jim Kelly. 34 seconds for this guy is plenty of time.
Well, you'll get a prevent defense on the part of Miami. The best way to attack it is to put Andre Reed or Thomas out of the backfield, something safe and secure, and then let them run with it.
Think we've seen some quality quarterbacking tonight?
Little screen. Thurman Thomas. He gets out of bounds. 7 seconds, and
he gets hit out of bounds.
Alexander hits him.
I don't see a flag over there at all.
Nope.
A lot of intensity here tonight.
Well, it's the middle of November. Time of year things start to tighten up a little bit.
The atmosphere around both these teams is strictly, we've got to win this one tonight or we're going to be losing the home field advantage if we do make the playoffs.
2nd and 6. That's a dump off to Thomas.
And David Griggs is going bananas. He thought Howard Ballard had held him, and he's complaining bitterly to the official.
18 seconds. Frank, you're talking about the atmosphere around both teams. If it's more important to one team than the other, it's more important to Buffalo. Because if Miami were to win the game, they'd be a game up, and in effect, they'd be 2 up because they'd own the tie-breaking advantage.
And that's the first one, of course. But if Buffalo should win it, they will have a tremendous division. Victories in the division lead over Miami.
From the 44-yard line, Kelly trying to get him into field goal range. And he just may have, as Lofton does not make the catch. They're saying no.
He lost it on the hit.
Well, and James not arguing.
Nope, Louis Oliver was the hitter.
Oliver, who says he has not been getting much attention as he roams the middle. This time they try to bring it in there. You understand why. A big hit on Lofton. Lofton can't hold on to it. Tries to tuck it away. He lost it actually before the hit.
Yeah, you can see it from that angle. How the ball actually went right through his hands and bounced off the ground right back up into his arm.
That would have been in field goal range.
2nd down and 10. Clock down to 8, 7, 6. Beebe steps out of bounds with 4 seconds, and he steps out of bounds at the 35, so you're looking at a 52, 53-yard attempt, and he has already made one from 54.
Chip shot for Christie after what we saw.
Line of scrimmage is going to be the 35. They're going to set it up at the 43 is where
and good luck
is planted his foot.
And good luck trying to figure out where the wind is coming from this time. You look at the goalposts, and The flags are swirling in all directions.
Frank Reich is the holder. Not even close and blocked.
It's blocked, and look out, you better... Oh, there's a smart play. Get it out of bounds.
Frank Reich knocking it out of bounds.
Time has run out.
Good move.
That was an intelligent play by the Maryland quarterback, Frank Reich.
End of an outstanding first half. Miami 17, Buffalo 13. And we'll return with halftime activities after this message from the National Football League and a word from our ABC stations. Not yet halftime, because after the teams had already gone to the locker room.
You want to bet? No,
Tom White came back and said, and now he's going to say something
on the last play. There was an illegal bat by the kicking team. The penalty has been refused by Miami. Half is over.
After all that, they had brought the teams back on the field after saying that Frank Reich had illegally batted the ball. Initially, they were going to give Miami one more play. Here's the play in question again.
Well, I guess supposedly because the ball on its way out of bounds moved towards the Buffalo goal line. But then if you look at it again, it doesn't appear to be. So there was mass confusion on the field. The net result, nothing.
Only on Monday night, reminiscent of last year's Jets-Bears.
Tonight, the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, key game in the AFC East. And it's been quite a weekend here in South Florida. The build-up for tonight's showdown with the hated Bills, but Dolphin fans also had a bonus this weekend as the 72 Dolphins, the undefeated 72 Dolphins, are celebrating an unprecedented season that still stirs fond memories.
Second and goal from the half-yard line. The handoff goes to Zonka through the left side. He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. Larry Zonka out. Greasy, the quarterback, drops back to throw. He sets up. He fires the middle. Warfield's got it. 35, 40, 45, 50. Started at 40, 35 to the 30.
In all the years that I've played football, I've never seen a chemistry on a team like we had on this team.
It wasn't so much the athleticism is the determination that got it done. And I think the leadership of Shula.
They were very unselfish. They were highly motivated. They were very intelligent, probably more intelligent than any team, collective team that I've been around since I've been in coaching.
We were ready. This team was ready to win, and we did.
By week 3, the Dolphins were the only undefeated team in the NFL. Then in week 5, with one crushing play, their dream of returning to the Super Bowl for a second straight season seemed to slip away. Quarterback Bob Greasy was down with a serious injury.
I knew immediately that that was it for me for the year. I had a dislocated ankle and a fractured leg. All I wanted to do again was walk.
Well, that was devastation because Bob Greasy was our leader, our quarterback. And fortunately, I had talked Joe Robbie into picking up Earl Morrall as an insurance policy that year before. And the insurance policy paid off.
When I was in the 6th grade or the 7th grade, I sneaked in a football game about 1960. And Earl Morrall was the quarterback for the pro team. Now, I go all the way through high school, all the way through college, 4 years into the pros, and Greasy goes down, and who comes trotting in the game but Earl Morrall?
I got my helmet buckled on the chin strap, and as Shula came off the field there, I knew I was going in, and I wasn't looking to do anything sensational or anything of that nature. I was looking just to establish a little continuity.
Continuity was an understatement. Morrow won 10 straight games for the Dolphins before Shula replaced him during halftime of the AFC Championship game with the fully recovered Bob Greasy.
It was almost as if I had never left. And I certainly had fresh legs and a fresh arm.
Fresh enough to take them to Super Bowl VII and a 14-0 lead over the Redskins in the 4th quarter. Then, with just over 2 minutes left in the game, came the most notorious play of the entire 72 season and maybe Super Bowl history.
A field goal here should ice it for the Dolphins. Yepremian's attempt will be from 34. Here's the snap.
I planted my foot to kick the ball, and I guess I didn't get enough height. The ball was batted down. It came back. So I picked it up, And as I was trying to throw the ball slipped out of my hands. Mike Bass was right there. He picked it up, went for a touchdown. The game is 14-7. How could I go and face my teammates, and especially Coach Shula? I was trying to avoid him.
Your Premier needn't have worried. The famous Miami no-name defense prevailed. The Dolphins held on to win the game, and the record of 17-0 is still untouched 20 years later.
It's the most important moment that I've ever had as a coach. We did it. We're 17-0. Every year when a team looks like they might do it, our group sort of just bonds closer together, and they pull for the other team somehow to get beat, and us remain the only team that's ever done it.
When I look at the Miami Dolphins 1972 undefeated team, I think the scoreboard said everything. It said best ever. And I think that's what we were.
Halftime, Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The Miami Dolphins over the Buffalo Bills in a very important game here in the Eastern Division of the AFC. And guys, I think it's everything we thought it would be.
High scoring. It's a real shootout. Great first half, 17-13. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights. It was 7-3 Miami, and they were able to finish off a second long drive, and it's Marino to Clayton again. It's only happened 78 times. By far the greatest, most productive pitch and catch combination in NFL history. Blown coverage there probably by Kirby Jackson. One of the keys to that play was Marino able to escape the rush, move off to his left. Jackson was looking into the backfield, and there was Clayton taking it in the corner of the end zone to make the score 14-3. Then Buffalo got a field goal to make it 14-6, and they finished off a drive here from the 5-yard line as Thurman Thomas's backup Kenneth Davis, behind a great block by the center Ken Hall, is able to move through the middle, go into the end zone, making the score 14-13. Miami adds a field goal. Great first half, Dan.
It was and it was so well played. I mean, very few mistakes. The quality of the quarterbacking is, I mean, we might as well have played this game in Canton, Ohio, because that's where both these guys are going to end up. But I'm struck by something else, guys. There's been such an NFC dominance in the Super Bowl lately. And when you look what's happening in the AFC this year, and you get to see these two teams close up, you're wondering if maybe the AFC isn't real close to breaking through and winning a Super Bowl. And it might be one of these two teams.
Miami very tough this year, and what I like about Miami, they're doing it on both sides of the ball. Remember, a couple of years ago they had nothing but offense. Then they put together a defense. They lost that last year. Now they've got it all back together, and I look for Miami to come back in the second half and go back to what they were doing at the beginning of this game, coming out, running the football, making the play action work. And I think that Don Shula, who does it all the time, I think he'll go back to his game plan.
And again, as we stated at the top, first place in the AFC East, undisputed possession of first place at stake here, and the best record in the conference. And you can't overlook the fact that the last 5 AFC representatives in the Super Bowl have all had that home field advantage. Big difference.
You wonder, though, how big a home field advantage it is for the Dolphins to host AFC playoff games down here. I think everybody else wouldn't mind coming here at all in January.
Well, Dan, I was going to let you say it, but it's snowing up in Buffalo. It's been snowing all weekend, and I think the Dolphins would rather have a playoff game right here.
That was Frank Gifford that said that. I want you all to know in Buffalo.
I love Buffalo. Okay, we'll be back in a moment.
Back at Joe Robbie Stadium, well, on tape, we chronicle the 72 undefeated Dolphins, and there they are live. They have just been honored at halftime here at Joe Robbie Stadium.
What a crew that was.
Virtually the entire team came back. Just a couple of the members had commitments elsewhere that they couldn't break to be here, and a celebration for this entire state, for certainly that man, Don Shula, and a celebration of pro football history. The only undefeated team in NFL history.
You had a quick look at Howard Snellenberger. He was one of the coaches here. He also coached Jim Kelly at the University of Miami, and he had mixed emotions about tonight's game because Mark Sander is in for John Offerdahl, a linebacker for the Dolphins. And he, of course, graduated from Louisville a couple of years ago.
Second half kickoff off the foot of Steve Christie comes down to the Dolphins' 4-yard line. This is Bernie Parmalee, a rookie, bringing it back out to the 21-yard line, and that's where Marino and the offense will take over. Score is 17-13 Miami, and let's take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes of play. And pretty even all the way down the line.
And no turnovers so far in this game, and extremely even, as are these two clubs. And if one unit of either one of these two teams has really changed dramatically for the better would have to be the defense of Miami. So much faster, so much stronger, so much more athletic than in years past. And, of course, the addition of people like Vincent and Coleman have a lot to do with it.
Each team on a 400-yard pace for the game as Marino gets sacked at the 13-yard line by Bruce Smith.
Oh, and Bruce kind of with a little finally. He started in the middle. They had to run a line stunt to free him up. But Smith lined up a defensive tackle, looped to the outside, and got the sack.
And that's a genuine sack, not a coverage sack. Marino had plenty of time, or he did not have the time to deliver the ball. Bruce Smith slicing through a 9-yard loss, and I think Bruce Smith did say it's about time.
First sack, as you saw, against Marino in 5 years, and 9 for the season now for Bruce. It is second down and 19 at the 13-yard line. Mark Higgs. This is the way they started the game with Higgs on the ground. He takes it out past the 20-yard line, and there's a marker down.
And Richmond Webb, the left tackle, tackled Bruce Smith.
Holding against Miami.
Well, those are the things you don't see in the book either, are they, Dan? He draws so many penalties. That's the second one tonight, second time he's been held. Those are big plays. It's like a sack.
I saw this one from this appeared to be a major league. This was not a novice hold.
Holding. Number 78 on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still second down.
One of the fine young offensive linemen in the National Football League. And when Richmond Webb was a rookie, he turned in maybe the best rookie year of an offensive tackle that I have ever seen.
I remember you saying that.
Oh. He has justified everything Don Shula saw in him to make him a #1 draft choice.
Second down and 25, and they give it to Bobby Humphrey. Out to the 10-yard line. It'll be third down and 22.
Also over that left side, in the same draft, the second-round draft pick, Keith Sims hasn't worked out too badly for him, Dan.
They have been some good drafts for Don Shula, and you know, he's had some disappointing drafts 4 and 5 years ago that, especially trying to shore things up defensively, that didn't pan out. John Boza, defensive end. Eric Kumaro, another defensive lineman. The Sammy Smith trade really didn't turn out to get the running back he was looking for, although they've converted Smith into Humphrey.
On third and 22. Marino has to get him to the 32-yard line to convert. And one hops it to Mark Clayton, who then drop kicks it. Fourth down.
Well, that was coverage. Good coverage downfield where Marino wanted to go. Danced around. He knew the pocket was going to close in on him. And he underthrew Clayton, which would have been, of course, far short of a first down.
Frank, the old drop kick. That's going to bring back some memories.
Well, thank you. Yes.
Pretty good form.
We did that at SC. I was getting my memories earlier for the upcoming SC Notre Dame game.
Not lost in all this is what a poor showing that was by Miami's offense.
Reggie Roby's punt bounces at the 50 and takes a Buffalo bounce, and it's down at the 47-yard line by James Saxon. So the Bills, down by 4, are going to take over in Miami territory after a 37-yard Roby punt.
A sack and a holding call, and Miami unable to do anything with the football from inside their own 10-yard line has given Buffalo great field position. And nobody takes advantage of it more quickly.
Don Shula beseeching his offensive line that we can't afford many more possessions like that.
From the 46-yard line, this is Carwell Gardner with his first carry of the game. Normally in there as a blocking back when they have a 2-back set, and they haven't shown much of that in the first half. Takes it to the 43-yard line.
We'll sneak him out as a receiver once in a while, but he basically is the man who does the blocking for Thurman Thomas in the 2-man set.
Yeah, nice of him to get up and try to walk across one of the Miami guys.
Here's Thomas out of a more conventional set, taking it to the 40-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 3. David Griggs in on the stop.
Well, we know what this is. This is pass down for Buffalo. The 3rd and 2 a while ago in the first half, they put it up in the air, so they most certainly will here.
3rd and 3, everybody including Thomas into the pattern, and the pass is caught at the 25-yard line by James Lofton, who got position on the rookie Vincent and holds it in to convert. First down.
Vincent just giving Lofton way too much room when you have got to figure they're going to go for the first down. They're not going to take Lofton deep, but Vincent, the rookie, does play him for a deep move. Good move by Lofton. And a well-thrown pass by Kelly, timed out beautifully.
Easy for us to say Lofton's not going to go deep.
Well, you got to play the percentages somewhere in this game.
Yeah, well, Vincent, he said, burn me short, but you're not going to get me long.
First down from the 26. Great protection for Kelly, and the pass is knocked away at the last second by Louis Oliver.
Oh, in the end zone, too. That's about where he got Kelly in the last game and took it for 103.
Oh, he was all over Kelly in that last one, wasn't he? He had 3 of them. One for 103-yard touchdown, 170 yards of interception return, and Kelly almost got it in there. Andre Reed, the intended receiver, Oliver roaming the outfield, was there.
Reed was already cradling it. On 2nd and 10. Kelly, great protection again, and perfect pass is dropped by Reed. There's a flag. J.B. Brown covering flag at the 8-yard line.
And going to go against Brown again.
It was a pump fake by Kelly. Boy, Kelly faked the hook to Andre Reed, pumped the ball, and Brown came up on it.
Oh, there was a lot of intrigue, though, Dan. Kelly looked out to Andre Reed and made the direct call to him. That had to get J.B. Brown's attention.
Oh, yeah, he rolled that way and then faked the pump.
Illegal contact, number 25 defense, 5 yards, first down.
They're calling it against Louis Oliver. That's 37 is J.B. Brown. Oliver's not even in this shot. But that was good defensive effort there by...
Well, they threw the flag right at Brown and Reed.
Oliver couldn't be Oliver.
He identified the wrong player.
Oh, that's getting really picky.
Well, contact can't come outside that 5-yard zone. That must have been the call.
Break for Miami, in as much as the pass should have been caught. Now, with flags down.
Flag is down, but there's no whistle.
Reed to the 9-yard line.
Well, there was offsides on the play.
Marco Coleman was offside, but whistled. At least we didn't hear a whistle.
Well, we had a false start offensively, too.
Well, but Dan, you play football until the whistle blows.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, Coleman comes, but then the tight end, I think Metzelars, moves as well. They're going to have to sort this one out. I think Coleman went first, and then the tight end went second. And J.B. Brown, you're exactly right, Frank, acted like the play was over, and it was still alive.
There is no play. We have a false start prior to the play. Number 84 offense, 5 yards, still first down.
There was no play and no whistle.
All right, they're calling the tight end. He's signaling that it was Keith McKellar to that side.
McKellar, I don't think he was the one that moved. We're not going to find out, I guess.
It was actually Metzelars who moved, not McKellar.
1st and 15 after all this. And Thomas, a hard yard, pushed back by Grigg.
And now we're going to have action here between Coleman and McKellar that draws a flag. And let's see if they can get the numbers right on this one.
Yeah, been a while.
And we have gone from a very extremely well played first half to a chaotic start here in half number 2.
It all started at the end of the first half.
Remember earlier in the game when McKellar beat Marco Coleman on a pass pattern?
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 90 on Miami, half the distance to the goal, first down.
That's big time. He's right over McKellar, top of your screen. And well, they always see the second one.
Yep.
Well, They do always see the second one, but that's a shove more than anything else. Yeah. I mean, these are big guys, and that stuff goes on virtually every play.
And now we've got another whistle.
Frank, what do you think? I mean, you see that kind of stuff all the time. I'm not sure that's flag material.
Particularly in a game like this, it's not had a lot of penalties.
A fist or a punch or something like that. That was getting up off the ground, more of a shove than anything else.
I don't know what that is.
Play clock should go back to 25 is what he's signaling.
Any way you look at it, Buffalo is getting a whole lot closer to the Miami end zone.
1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Thomas to the 9. No flags.
Remember the first time he talked to Don Shula about Mark Coleman? He said he is a great backside pursuit man. At that point, early in the season, they were playing at left linebacker. They moved him over to right defensive end, and you just saw what Don Shula was talking about. He closed down on Thurman Thomas.
2nd and 7 from the 10-yard line. Buffalo down by 4. Gardner makes the catch. He takes it to the 1. That's a first down. Carwell Gardner, who had his first carry of the game on this drive, makes his 4th reception of the season.
And here comes Buffalo's goal line package, where they normally move Mitch Farrat out to a tight end position where he's got a couple of touchdown receptions. John Fina, the rookie tackle, has a touchdown as well. Between the two of them, they have 3 touchdowns for a total of 5 yards.
And Farrat is eligible. McKellar in motion on 1st and goal with Kenneth Davis scoring his 2nd touchdown of the night, and Buffalo has the lead.
And rather a dramatic turnaround from the first half. Miami unable to do anything on their first possession. Buffalo taking it in.
One of the advantages you get by putting a guard at tight end is certainly a better block at the point of attack. That's Mitch Farrat, number 59 on the left side. And look how he takes number 51 Cox and just pins him back. Gardner, good work. Richer, good work at the point of attack, and an easy stroll into the end zone.
Christie for the point after. So a couple of keys. It was a short Roby punt. It was a costly personal foul on Marco Coleman. The Bills convert, and with 9:16 to go in the 3rd, for the first time in the game, Buffalo is ahead. 9:16 left, 3rd quarter, 20-17, Bills. Christie to kick off. Mike Williams and Bernie Parmalee back to receive for the Dolphins. Whistle. And a whistle. I'm telling you, Zebras run wild here in the 3rd quarter. What is going on?
There is no kickoff.
Yeah, we noticed.
Man. Dan Jenkins is going to have a whole other new book when this one's over.
Don Shula is a member of the competition committee, and he's been cool thus far this evening, but he has been known to blow just a little bit. He got a little happy at me early in the year when I pointed out when a play that could have been called back with a replay, and I said something on the air about, well, at least we're not going to look at it for 5 minutes. He jumped all over my case in Cleveland. He's a good friend of mine. He is a real proponent of the replay. Yeah. I said, Don, all of us are allowed an opinion. He looked at me with those eyes and said, you aren't.
There's no question that those were 2 offensive linemen sitting on the bench. That's the way offensive linemen ought to look. A little scrubby, a little dirty.
Unless this is a dream sequence, this is the real kickoff.
There is no kickoff. Return.
Parmalee kneels down, touchback. We think. We believe. Ball at the 20. 9:07 left in the 3rd. Bills by 3. Wednesday night on ABC. Starts with Home Improvement, then Doogie Howser, MD. And make sure you tune in for the Jacksons, an American Dream, as that concludes Wednesday night.
Are you on Doogie Howser this week?
No, sir. I'm off this week.
Oh.
And I'm keeping my night job, too, after
a little moonlighting out there on the West Coast. You were very good, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
The night job is fun when you get a game like this.
Yes.
This is outstanding.
Miami at the 20-yard line. Marino off the fake. And Marino goes down at the 12-yard line. And it is Marcus Patton.
Oh, that was a crawling sack. Marino didn't even see him. He was down on the ground, and Patton snaked out an arm, I guess, and tripped him.
Well, but how many games have you seen Marino in this kind of trouble in the past?
Now here's Patton. He's being double-teamed by Higgs and by Page. And as he falls, he just grabs Dan by the arm and almost gets the ball as well.
Boy. And that's the third sack of Marino. He's only had 11 in the previous 9 games.
It's like Dan didn't think Patton was going to get that close as he fell down.
Walt Corey, defensive coordinator for Buffalo, was right. He said, we think we can get to him.
2nd and 17. They bring Bobby Humphrey in the game, and they give the ball to Humphrey. And Bobby gets back to about the original line of scrimmage. That's going to set up a 3rd and 10 with 8:25 left in the 3rd quarter.
As an offensive player, you feel the pressure when you have a poor series and you end up turning the ball over in your own territory. And I know that all the offensive guys from Miami feel poorly after their last series. And here they are on the brink of doing it again. I mean, if ever a group of guys right now is thinking about a first down, it's this Miami offensive team.
3rd and 10 at the 20. Buffalo 20, Miami 17, midway through the 3rd quarter.
And this is why Keith Jackson makes a lot of money.
And here comes Smith across the line again, so you've got flags, and you've got, in effect, a free play. And the catch is made out of bounds by Tony Martin.
And we will have, I'm sure, a 3rd down and 5. And Bruce Smith, again, I think he's just guessing with the count and getting...
Well, Dan's moving again, Frank.
Bobbing that head up and down, and now Marv Levy's getting into it.
Yeah, this time it was a full upper body movement, and Dan Marino is getting away with a ton. He is getting away. You don't normally see this.
Offsides, number 78 defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
They're at a regular speed now.
Watch Dan Marino move. You see that? That's a violation of the rules. And Dan's going to keep doing it until he gets flagged. And who can blame him? But he is he's making Bruce Smith and the Buffalo defensive lineman's life miserable.
3rd down and 5 now at the 25.
Marino's defense would be, I need to mark those signals because of the crowd, but it's his crowd.
Marino out of the gun. Here come the Bills. He gets the pass away. That's a 1st down and a lot more to Mark Clayton. All the way to the 35-yard line.
Oh, boy. It wasn't a pick, but it came very close to it. Clayton and Duper crossing. Clayton coming underneath Duper. Duper got called for it last week. But last week he wiped out the defensive back. This time he just kind of forced the coverage to come from the inside.
They mark it at the 41 is where he steps out.
2 bottom receivers. Duper breaking underneath Clayton. See that? I mean, you could call that. You can't make contact.
No, that's illegal.
And the officials must have known that they do it because he was called for it last week.
At the 41-yard line, Higgs. Tackle from behind, loses the football.
Buffalo has it.
It is Darryl Talley who popped him, and Bennett who recovered.
Talley with a good strip. Called all over Higgs. Just ripped it out. Over the years, how many big plays have we seen Talley make? Watch this. Wraps his arm around and just gives it a yank down. Here comes the right arm. Bang. Out it goes.
Credit Henry Jones, the strong safety. He's the guy that came up and forced Higgs back to the inside.
On 1st down now, Thomas picks up 2 to the 46-yard line. Darryl Talley on a team with so many stars, and even on his side of the ball with Smith and Bennett getting so much publicity, and Coleman is the injured Dolphin Marco Coleman. But you've got Jim Kelly, and you've got Thurman Thomas, and you've got Lofton going to the Hall of Fame, and you've got Andre Reed, and all of those guys, and you keep overlooking Darryl Talley, who never gets hurt, who's always in there, and time after time makes the big play.
But over the last couple of years, astute football people have really learned his value, and Marv Levy is his biggest fan, and it's nice to have the head coach in your corner.
Better the owner. Both. Coleman, he obviously has a cramp in his left calf, and he appears to be all right.
So after the injury timeout on 2nd down and 8, the pass is incomplete, intended for Pete Metzelaars. It is 3rd down and 8 now at the Buffalo 46-yard line. Coleman out, and his spot taken by Larry Webster, rookie from Maryland. 6:35 left in the 3rd quarter, and the game is close, and so are the numbers.
2 yards.
Marco's back.
Kelly has to get it to the 46 of Miami, and it's Thomas who makes the catch and takes it to the 43 for a 1st down. You know, one great thing about Thurman Thomas, he's been such a great player. You can only hope his legacy is not he's the guy who forgot his helmet at the Super Bowl.
I don't think that'll be his legacy.
No.
He's much more than that, and one of his true abilities and gifts is to be able to operate in space. That time he released through the line of scrimmage, made it look like he was lost in the shuffle, and then worked underneath. He can go outside, inside, a big part of the passing game. And now we're having, I can only assume, some sort of problem with the clock.
It must be.
And Jim Kelly brings his offensive team back into the huddle. You take a look at that. 8 games against the Dolphins. 157 total yards, rushing and receiving per game. I mean, talk about an asset.
Well, Pittsburgh is doing pretty good until last week. He stripped them for 155 yards rushing.
Kelly on 1st down, throwing to the 30-yard line. The catch is made by James Lofton, who's tackled by J.B. Brown, and that's another Buffalo 1st down.
J.B. just expecting that Lofton might take it into the end zone. He's done it so many times, and he just pulls up and in perfect sync with quarterback Jim Kelly. He was there. Brown couldn't get back to it.
Well, it's smart by
Brown
Buffalo.
back. Look at this.
It's smart by Buffalo to take advantage of that cushion, Frank. You're right.
Absolutely.
1st down, and it's an end around. Andre Reed gets a block from McKellar, and then gets taken down at the 20-yard line after a gain of 8 by Oliver and Hobley.
Andre Reed reminds me of what the Tina Turner and Proud Mary. We never do nothing nice and easy. This guy never seems to get a reception where he doesn't get pounded, or a run where he doesn't get pounded. I'm not sure there's a receiver in the league that takes more contact and abuse than Andre Reed.
Here's Thomas on 2nd and 1, taking it to the 10. And Thurman in yards from scrimmage tonight is up near the 100-yard mark, on his way to a 4th consecutive season, leading the NFL in yards from scrimmage, which is rushing and receiving combined.
Was it 11:51 after 9 games?
And here he is, and you can see he gets stronger as the game goes on. Thomas again upended at the 10-yard line. Klingbeil in on the hit. 4:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Trying to get something into Kelly. Then Schaffner looking on.
Schaffner, the quarterback coach. On 2nd and 9, the fake to Thomas. Kelly throws, and a great catch is made by McKellar at the 5-yard line. And it will be 3rd down and 4 for a 1st and 5 for a touchdown.
So many tools, so many weapons, so many gifted football players that number 12 can get the football to during the course of a game. One right after another. Lofton, Reed, McKellar, Thomas, Kenneth Davis, Beebe. I mean, it just goes, it's endless.
Very big play here. 3rd and 4 at the 5. Buffalo up by 3, and it's a big enough play that Kelly's going to spend a timeout.
Yeah, he could have got the ball off. He just didn't like the defensive set with the formation he had. He had 12 seconds on the clock, and he said, hey, let's talk it over.
Marco Coleman with leg cramps, and he will be in and out of the game, and he is out at the moment on a very key play here. Joe Green, the defensive line coach, Mean Joe Green.
It looks like he's still got a few plays left in him.
It is 3rd and 4 for the 1st, 5 for the touchdown. Big play. Kelly lofting it into the end zone. There's a flag down. Lofton can't make the catch. He got tangled up with Brown. Oliver screaming at the official.
I think we might have a pick called here. They didn't call one earlier. But the Dolphins just collided with themselves.
You may have offensive interference here.
Two Dolphins collided when the flag was flown. We saw a pick earlier, successful on the part of the Dolphins.
You may have Lofton actually pushing off, trying to get it free into the corner. You know, he's a big man, James Lofton, 6'3", 190 pounds. He's not afraid to use his size to try to get open either.
With these guys, you could have anything.
We have multiple fouls on Buffalo. Holding, number 82. Offensive pass interference, number 80.
They did get
Both
Lofton.
penalties are declined. They'll take the result of the play. 4th down.
And they got Beebe for holding.
Yeah, they're not going to give Buffalo another chance. All right, Beebe, as you can see, complaining that he was held. All right, let's watch his work here against Vincent. There's a bulldog move. Yes, that's legitimate. Now watch the upper left. Watch Lofton make his break right there, where he pushes J.B. Brown with his right arm. That's the one that drew that. That's the one that drew it on that end.
Now it's a 23-yard attempt for Christie. They'll spot it at the 13-yard line. Wright puts it down, and Christie bangs it through. But it was vital for Miami to hold and hold them to 3. And that's exactly what they did. It's 23-17 Buffalo.
Lofton was trying to prevent the interception in the end zone. They both got the flags.
And both of them were meaningless because it was an incomplete pass anyway, and they declined them both.
It was imperative for the Miami defense to hold them to 3.
3:17 left in the third. 23-17. Buffalo on top. Winner goes to 8-2 and has the best record in the AFC. Christie's check. At the goal line, Bernie Parmalee. And he's tackled up at the 18-yard line. Tackle made by Kenneth Davis. Not only backing up Thomas, but does a good job on special teams. We go to the Superdome next week. In New Orleans, the Washington Redskins with a record of 6-4, and in the scramble now for a playoff spot. This is a pretty important game. It's more than pretty important. It's a very important game for the Redskins against the Saints.
And if you're a team with offensive troubles like the Redskins have, where's the last place on earth you'd want to go? The Superdome against that awesome Saints defense.
Good matchup next Monday. Higgs on first down. Turns no gain into about a 3-yard pickup as he fights his way up to the 21-yard line.
Higgs bounces off the back of his own lineman.
And you better believe he's covering up the football.
I wonder what it looks like from down there. I mean, on a field with really, really big people, and quite an understatement. Mark Higgs, at only 5 feet 7 inches tall, is not just that occasional kick returner or somebody you see at that height. I mean, this is an every down player.
2nd and 7 from the 21-yard line. That's Page in motion. Marino with wonderful protection. It's intercepted off the deflection. Henry Jones inside the 30, out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Intended for Keith Jackson and off his hands, and Jones winds up with his 7th interception of the season.
And a couple of them now he's taken back for touchdowns. He could have taken that one back.
Well, and that's Keith Jackson very unhappy with himself because Dan Marino throws the ball right at him. It was doggone good coverage. That's the old classic tip drill. Up in the air it goes, right to Jones.
A little high, but no question that's got to be caught.
That's right on the face mask. That's a beautiful pass by Marino.
And here comes Jones. Had an 82-yard return for a touchdown earlier in the year.
From the 18 now, here's Thurman Thomas moving to the outside. And Thurman Thomas is he in? No, he's not. Out of bounds inside the 1.
Now there's a judgment call by the back judge. The pylon went flying. Thurman thought he had a touchdown. Initially, I thought he had a touchdown as well, but he's ruled down inside the 1, and that, I don't know how a guy makes that call. That's happening awful fast.
He hit the pylon when he went into the corner of the end zone. Let's take a look.
You flip a mind coin is how you make the call.
Zoop. Ooh, that looked like his... Remember now, you can't go by his feet. You have to go by the football. His left foot comes down on the goal line. You know, it's one of those things from that angle, it looked like a touchdown.
Here's Davis.
Doesn't look like a touchdown there.
Davis has scored twice tonight, and he is stopped shy of the goal line by Jarvis Williams.
They come right back with the play that he scored on so easily the first time he scored. Again, look at Thurman Thomas. Left foot on the goal line. Knee pops the pylon. Was the ball in?
That's one of those deals where even with instant replay in effect, you're not going to see any sort of a replay, I believe, that's going to give you any sort of conclusive evidence to overturn the call.
Thomas doing all of the heavy lifting tonight, and Kenneth Davis paying off.
Yeah.
He has scored twice. He is still in there in a full house alignment. And they send McKellar in motion on 2nd and goal. Kelly off the fake. Throwing, and it is incomplete. Metzelars comes up with the ball. The coverage with Jarvis Williams, and the official right there to say no.
Jarvis winning interference. These guys are in each other's face.
You already talked about the use of the offensive linemen. They use Mitch Farrat, Don Fina, blocking down there, but they also use them as receivers. Let's take a look.
Well, Farrat was there in the end zone as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, you could see the ball touch the ground, but not so sure it wasn't in the control of Metzelars.
Same formation this time. McKellar in motion to the right. Kenneth Davis swinging left. Kenneth Davis cannot get in.
Brian Cox. Brian Cox with a brilliant play.
Cox just made a mess out of it.
He sure did. He beats Mitch Farrat, who's in there at tight end, and gets upfield, and Davis can't tuck it up underneath. Watch Farrat, number 59. He's trying to hook Cox, and Cox gets upfield, and boy, that's the end of the play right there.
Here comes Oliver and Jarvis Williams.
That play is over once he forces a change of direction by Davis.
19-yard field goal attempt for Steve Christie. Wright puts it down. Christie hits it.
Can't say the Miami defense isn't keeping it alive for the offense. 2 times they've turned them away from 1st and goal. They kept it to 3.
The difference between 30-17 and 26-17. A 9-point Buffalo lead with 11 ticks left in the 3rd.
Well, again, we have to go back to number 1, the significance of Thurman Thomas not getting credit for a touchdown on that run. I mean, that is a 4-point call by the official.
And here the reverse angle for the pass to Pete Metzelars. Tries to scoop it off the turf, and I don't know, again, it's still strictly judgment. Looked like it did hit.
I mean, that's one of those deals that even though the ball touches the ground, you have to make a determination as to whether or not it was in control of the player.
And here's the third down. A great play.
Oh, yeah.
And Jarvis Williams, 26, and Louis Oliver, 25. And they keep Buffalo out of the end zone again.
Yep. It is indeed a game of inches. And that judgment call by the official, that when you looked at it, he was the one right there, and you can't argue it either way. And Buffalo not able to get it that extra foot.
Meanwhile, in the 3rd quarter, the Miami offense has been totally stymied.
Remarkable how well they moved this ball in the first half.
Yep.
They can't do anything.
Christie's kick. Fielded in the end zone. Parmalee kneels down. And he'll take over at the 20-yard line in the waning seconds of the 3rd quarter. Again, another look at the Thomas play. Normally on something like this, you would figure it's academic because it's 1st and goal from the 2-inch line. As it turns out, it cost Buffalo 4 points.
And also, when you look back at it, you can say that that very fine effort by Troy Vincent was a 4-point effort on behalf of the Miami Dolphins.
First and 10, Miami at the 20-yard line on what should be the final play of the third quarter. Tony Page makes the catch, and he takes it out to the 30, and that's enough for a first down. It'll be first down at the 30-yard line when the fourth quarter begins. End of 3. It's Buffalo 26. Miami 17. Will return with Monday Night Football after this word from our ABC station. Little cruise down the boulevard in South Miami Beach.
That's the South Beach District, all sorts of Art Deco facades.
Oh, that's hot, isn't it?
Oh, all really popular clubs and sidewalk cafes.
One of those areas that would really love to welcome a little more tourism back into the Miami area.
We start the fourth quarter. Miami first and 10 at its own 30. Buffalo up by 9. Marino on first down, throws, that's deflected and incomplete. Putting a hand on it was Darryl Talley. So it'll be second down and 10. And gents, as we stated at the half, this one is living up to its billing.
It is that, and we talked about two of the AFC powerhouses, and somebody looking to be the champion of the AFC and champion their cause in a winning Super Bowl against the NFC.
Somebody on the Miami offense has got to step up, and that guy has got to be Marino.
Second and 10, and here is Higgs. They keep it on the ground on second and long, and Henry Jones comes up from the secondary to break the play up. Third down.
I mean, I think it's anything can happen, but Democrat has won the White House. An AFC team could win the Super Bowl. I mean, these guys certainly are due. And when you look at, I think you factor Kansas City into that mix, Pittsburgh. Somebody here is jockeying awful hard to go to Pasadena this year and come back with the Lombardi Trophy. It's a big deal to these guys.
The difference with this Buffalo team, they are 10th ranked in the NFL defensively this year. Last year they were 27th. They carried that in the Super Bowl, and they were destroyed by Washington. Buffalo is a much more solid team this year.
Third down and 10. Marino hanging right there. What a catch at midfield by Mark Clayton. A tremendous catch. 90 miles an hour out of the hand of Marino, and somehow Clayton with his fingertips able to hold on.
We said it a moment ago, Marino has got to make a big play. He just made one. He's going to have to make more now. Watch him dance away from Lodi. Fires a shot to Clayton. That was a great catch. Fingertips by Mark Duper.
And he caught about the last eighth of the football. Yep. When you catch the back of the ball, that is amazing.
There's no handle on that thing.
From the 50-yard line, Marino throws underneath, and that's incomplete, intended for Page. That's definitely worth another look.
That's the equivalent of the ice cream cone catch in baseball.
You know, Clayton's been under a little bit of fire down here. Every time he gets in front of a microphone, he says something, according to most of the players, and Don Shula. He makes a great effort here. He goes up, catches it on the fingertips, and somehow concentrates and pulls it in. That was a great effort.
Well, he feels that he's not as big a part of the offensive mix, and he's not. And he was very vocal about Keith Jackson getting here, getting a big contract, getting a lot of receptions.
That's the turning point if they win this game, because it was third down and 10.
I guess you have to
force the punt.
I guess you have to like him if they really care, though.
Second and 10 now from the 50-yard line. Marino. Just before he gets to the line of scrimmage, and that catch is made by Bobby Humphrey to the 24-yard line.
And being chased by Bennett at the same time.
Oh, but can he spark a team?
And Dan Marino can move better than you think when you watch the man. It's so deceptive, his ability to move around and stay alive just long enough.
And Humphrey stayed alive for Marino. Getting into the right angle for him. And getting another first down, keeping it alive.
26-17 Buffalo, 12:40 left in regulation. 1st and 10 at the 24 with Clayton in motion. It's Humphrey through the middle. Trudges way to the 21, gain of 3. Bennett with the tackle.
Talked a lot about Mark Higgs, who has done most of the work thus far this season, but Bobby Humphrey, a 2-time 1,000-yard rusher for the Denver Broncos before only playing in 4 or 5 games a year ago. Dan alluded to the trade that brought him here, but he is a good receiver out of the backfield, and you let Higgs go for a couple of quarters, 3 quarters, and then you bring in Bobby Humphrey, and you even pick up on things.
2nd and 6 at the 20-yard line. Jackson, and he's tackled by Matt Darby, staying right with him, not letting him escape. And he holds him to a minimal gain. It will set up a 3rd down and 4.
Jackson again releasing off the line of scrimmage. He's totally unhindered there. That's not the wisest thing to do to the big tight end.
Talk about a man who's had an impact on many fronts. Certainly affecting the whole league when he was ruled a free agent. Signing with Miami, the way he's changed things here. And of course his loss in Philadelphia and the way it's changed things there. Many people think his departure has severely affected Randall Cunningham.
3rd and 4, Clayton and Duper both split left. And it's Humphrey on 3rd and 4, fighting his way to the 14, and probably close enough for a measurement. Stopped by Smith.
Give a big credit to Dan Marino, who changed what appeared to be a pass play off to the run play when he read the defense. A defense that, of course, they had looked at all week long preparing for this game. You see that defense? It stood for 4 or 5, make the change, and he did.
Enough for a first.
This comes from looking at the video over and over, taking the frequencies, and then having a quarterback that has the skill and the wherewithal to change it when you are supposed to.
Wright could only slow him down. Smith finally makes the tackle, but too late as he picks up the first, and a juggling catch by Jackson, who gets tackled by Jones. Forward progress to about the 11.
Boy, and there's the continuing progress of Henry Jones, the #1 draft choice last year, who pretty much had a wasted year because of a contract problem and not coming in. And we see two good football players at work here. Concentration by Jackson, but Jones a solid open field tackle on a much bigger man.
I wonder what he thought at the first of the week when they came up, told him, hey, Henry, you're going to be shadowing Keith Jackson this week. Everything all right?
Yeah.
2nd and 6 now at the 10. 9:35 remaining in the 4th quarter. And Matt Darby with the pop that time, as Bobby Humphrey can take the ball to the 8-yard line.
And these yards are a little tougher to come by now for Miami.
Another very big 3rd down play. They've made 2 big 3rd down conversions on this drive. 3rd and 4 coming up here.
They are really having to labor against this defense as they get closer and closer to the goal line.
Over the past few weeks, this is when they have liked to go to the big tight end, Keith Jackson, but they have really been working him.
On 3rd and 4, shotgun, 4 wideouts.
4 wide.
They need a touchdown and a field goal.
Banks in motion. Marino fires incomplete at the 3-yard line. He tried to drill it into Freddie Banks.
And here's where you got to kick the field goal. When you need 2 scores, 8:48 left in the game, you can't come out of here with nothing. So you take your 3 and hope you get your touchdown later.
Banks might have held on to it, but that really had some smoke on it. That would have been a tough catch, and he also got popped.
There's been a whole lot of that going on tonight.
The 26-yard field goal attempt for Stoyanovich.
Very impressive.
Will hold.
Very impressive showing by Buffalo's defense.
Quite a career Pete Stoyanovich is putting together in Miami, too.
Ooh. Just makes it. Flag down.
Oh, and if this is against Buffalo, this just might give Miami a 1st down, but they don't look too excited the way they're walking back to the huddle.
Holding. Number 22 offense on a takedown. 10 yards previous spot. We replay 4th down.
That's James Saxon holding Nate Odom.
Earlier we had one on Tony Page.
Pete's been having to do some make goods tonight.
Yes. Page was called earlier on a successful field goal attempt of Stojanovic.
Take a look at the top there on the wing. That's good for 10 yards.
Here we go again from 35 yards now. Ball spotted at the 25 by Mitchell. And Stoyanovic's kick hits the upright.
You know what? He pushed it to the right last time and barely made it. And there's a question of overcompensating. He puts a little more into it to the left and snap hooks it and hits the upright.
Saxon, with that very costly penalty, as it turns out, turns a field goal into a miss, squanders a 12-play drive. Stojanovic hitting the upright, and Buffalo still up by 9 points. Bills have it at the 20.
There's a flag there with a Gardner fell forward and
illegal motion.
Illegal motion, offense. 2 men in motion at the same time. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is 2nd down.
2nd and 10. Well, on the first drive, the Bills were 3 and out, but since then, as you can see, either a field goal or a touchdown or a field goal attempt has been the end result. On 2nd and 10, Thomas goes nowhere, runs into Coleman and Griggs. Marco trying to ignite the crowd.
pretty fine addition to this Dolphin defensive team, these two number ones, Vincent and Coleman. And Buffalo up at the line of scrimmage, trying to protect the lead late in the ball game, snaps it at 20 seconds.
3rd and 12, and that's knocked away by Vesti Jackson.
I need an explanation as to why at this stage of the ball game Buffalo runs their no-huddle offense, snapping the football there with 20 seconds left on the play clock. A gift for the Miami Dolphins from Buffalo.
You could see the no-huddle because they always run it, but it should be the hesitant no-huddle instead of the hurry-up
no-huddle. I would think so, too, but you pointed out just a moment ago, Al, they've punted one time in this game.
Still, you can be a little more deliberate. You don't have to go back into the huddle.
You can breed a cocky attitude, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You can burn some time.
Those three plays took less than a minute. 54 ticks. Here's Moore's first kick since the first series of the game. And it bounces at the 44 and takes a very good Buffalo roll, 11 yards on the ground. 38 in the air for a 49-yard kick. First down, Dolphins at the 33 when we come back.
Keep pace in the NFC East, but these Saints can be devilish in the Dome. They meet next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
From the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, Joe Robbie Stadium, a facility that opened in 1987. Home of the Dolphins, home of the soon-to-be Florida Marlins of baseball, and we've got tennis for you Sunday on ABC. Acura presents the Virginia Slims Championships. Monica Seles heading the field. Live coverage 1 o'clock Eastern Time Sunday. Miami 1st and 10 at its own 33. 7.5 minutes to go. Buffalo up by 9, and the catch is made and inbounds at the 45-yard line. Mark Duper getting his feet down. Kirby Jackson providing the coverage. First down, Miami.
Good effort on the part of Duper to keep both those feet in bounds. Positions himself. He knows right where he is.
Such a poorly thrown ball, too.
It wobbles just a hair.
Duper tonight, 5 catches, and that's 100 yards receiving for Duper. Clayton in motion, shadowed by Jackson. Humphrey to the Buffalo 48-yard line. Henry Jones with the tackle. Found it at the 47, make it 2nd down and 2.
What you have with Humphrey as Miami goes to the no-huddle offense is an extra receiver and a good one coming out of that backfield. Cooper and Clayton on the flanks. Jackson working in the slot.
That trade has really worked for Miami. Sammy Smith can't stay healthy for Denver.
2nd and 2. Marino is able to shovel it to Humphrey. And it's another 1st down for the Dolphins.
Just an instinctive player, Bobby Humphrey. He always seems to be that kind of player in the right place at the right time. Lots of numbers. Reminiscent a little bit of Buffalo, San Francisco earlier in the year when they both went over 400 yards. Over 500.
Marino tonight over 300 yards. 302 to be precise. 1st down at the 35-yard line. And a big sack. Darryl Talley.
Huge sack. 4th of the night on Marino.
And this is just so out of character to see Dan Marino and his pass protection fall apart. So out of character. They locked up Talley on a back. If you're going to block a linebacker on a blitz, you must attack him high. If you go for the cut and miss, that's what happens. He sacks your quarterback.
2nd down and 22, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Tony Martin. It is amazing. What did Marino go at one point? Something like 19 consecutive games over 2 seasons.
Yep,
without getting sacked.
Well, he's been sacked 11 times coming into tonight. He's been sacked 4 times tonight.
At one point in time, they set the NFL record with 7 sacks in a season.
Broke your old record, St. Louis.
Yeah. John Sandusky, the line coach here, and he has done a remarkable job. Of course, he's only been doing a remarkable job for 3 decades in the NFL.
3rd and 22. Marino's got to get him down to the 25-yard line. He's nearly sacked again, but dumps it off to Humphrey. And Humphrey takes it to the 32-yard line, so they were about 7 yards shy of the 1st down. Clock at 5:22.
And now an interesting call here as to whether or not they try to go for a field goal, but it looks like it's going to come back. This is going to go against Miami, I think. Oh, that's a killer. Now Buffalo has to make a decision. How far back does this move Miami? And you maybe let them try a long field goal.
It'll be about a 47-yard field goal if they don't move them back. Certainly well within Stoyanovic's range, and they're going to move it back.
Yeah, he's too good to let him try that.
Motion. Number 85 on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
Yeah, if that's up around 50, 52, then you've got a really interesting call for Marv Levy and the Bills. But at 47, that's much too close for Stojanovic.
Third down and 27 now from the 48-yard line. 5:06 remaining, 4th quarter. 26-17 Buffalo. Clayton makes the catch at the 44. Takes it to the 33-yard line, so they are
about a 50-yarder
shy.
About a 50-yarder for Stojanovic.
Good move by Clayton back to the inside. He picked up another 6 or 7 yards he would not have got had he tried to break it to the outside.
Now they're going to bring in the field goal team.
You know, Don Shula's not above faking something, too.
He's got a quarterback holding. That's Scott Mitchell, who backs up Marino.
Buffalo, of course, thinking right with him.
Yeah, I think he's almost got to let him kick it.
50-yard attempt. Mitchell will put it down at the 40-yard line. Yes. It'll be close. Got it.
Whoa. Right at the outer limit.
Don't go to bed yet.
.404 remaining in the fourth quarter. Buffalo 26, Miami 20. Buffalo leading at 26-20. 4:04 remaining in the fourth quarter. Stoyanovich, who just kicked that 50-yarder, will send it down in the direction of Al Edwards and Kenneth Davis. Edwards from the goal line. Tackled at the 15. That's a great tackle by Bernie Parmalee, the rookie from Ball State.
Nice tackle, Bernie, but it wasn't the end of the world. Celebrations are the norm in the NFL, and here's a guy who's got reason to celebrate. Pete Stoyanovich ekes it over.
Ooh, he was grunting right there.
Buffalo on first down from the 15, and Kelly just throws it away, and that should be grounding, and I can't believe it if they don't call it.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is incredible. Marco Coleman.
There was no receiver, even a potential receiver you could have thought was a receiver.
I mean, that is quintessential grounding.
Unless McKellar could be conceived of as a, well, maybe he goes to McKellar.
Bogus.
Don Shula doesn't like it either.
The rule is pretty clear. If you got rid of the ball to avoid a sack, you get a flag. It's intentional grounding.
Horrible call. 2nd and 10 from the 15. Thomas picks up 3 to the 18-yard line, tackled by Sanders.
Well, this entire stadium is on their feet.
All right, now let's see, with the clock running, I can see now that Buffalo is going to be a little more deliberate in running off some of the clock. You notice they go back to their huddle.
I hope they don't call a play that they want to change at the line of scrimmage.
They've abandoned the no huddle wisely.
3rd and 7 from the 18. The game clock is down to 3:08. Kelly. Lofton, there's the flag. There's the flag on Troy Vincent.
And that's a good call. Vincent got there way early. He got there way early.
Well, he had little or no choice. Well thrown ball by Kelly with good protection, a lot of time for Lofton to uncover.
You notice Vincent's not doing much arguing.
Pass interference. Number 25 defense. First down at the spot of the foul. First down.
He still doesn't get the number right.
Watch Vincent fall down, but when he comes up, watch his right arm. Watch him grab Lofton right there. And that's interference.
Absolutely.
He pins Lofton's arm to his side way before the ball gets there. And this officiating crew tonight has been less than stellar. They got the numbers. It was a good call, but the numbers are coming out garbled.
Here is Thurman Thomas taking it to the 40-yard line.
I guess it's better than having the numbers right and the calls be bad.
And Miami is going to begin with the timeouts.
And you saw Marv saying, let's use that clock, but Shula's got to take a timeout here. So Miami spends a timeout to stop the clock. It'll be 2nd down and 3 when play resumes. 2:51 remaining.
Shula having a quick word with Tom Olivadotti. Looking for something that might perhaps, even the blitz is in a bad situation right here. Sometimes forcing the turnover, disrupting what's going on.
Well, Troy Vincent, who committed that foul, keep in mind he's a rookie, a very talented rookie, and got his timing destroyed when he slipped and fell. came back up, made a burst towards James Lofton, and just got that right arm on him early.
And if he doesn't make that move, Lofton might catch that football.
Right.
Would have been deep into Miami territory. A rookie working on a 15-year veteran is going to Canton.
Yeah.
Second and a long 2. And this is Thomas taking it to the 42-yard line, a little short of the first down. And Miami's going to have to spend another timeout. So they're down to 1 remaining. They gave him the spot to the 43. What are they saying? It's a first down? Tom, tell us. Because
for Buffalo.
It's a first down, which means Miami is still going to take its timeout here?
Well, the clock continues to run anyway, so yeah, they don't have much choice but to go ahead and stop the clock.
2:42 remaining. Well, I thought they were going to stop the clock because I thought Miami thought that they had stopped Thomas short of the first down.
It looks like they're going to try to use their timeouts in advance of the 2-minute warning. Utilizing the 2-minute warning as one of their timeouts along the way. And of course the risk of that is getting the ball back, but no timeouts and really handicapping your offense.
Well, I thought on that last sequence there, I thought Miami thought defensively. They came up immediately calling the timeout, which is the indication that we've stopped them for a third down play. They spotted the ball at the 43. Looked like a very gracious spot. Buffalo gets the first down. 1st and 10 from the 43. Thomas again to the 48-yard line. And now Miami spends its last, and the clock will stop once more at the 2-minute warning.
Third and last charge timeout. 42nd timeout.
Thurman Thomas again in yards from scrimmage tonight in triple figures. If he is to lead the league this year in that category, he'd be the first man in history to do it 4 consecutive years. Only he and Jim Brown have ever done it 3 years in a row, and that's 132 total yards tonight. 66 on the ground and 66 receiving.
This guy's up there in some pretty rarefied air.
And he has great talent. No question about that. And he plays tough in the tough games. He made some big plays tonight.
Well, Buffalo is thinking now about a first down. Moving the chains puts a serious bucket of water on Miami's fire.
2nd and 7 at the 46-yard line. Thomas again. And he gets stopped at the 49. Brian Cox makes the hit. Now Buffalo can let the clock run to the 2-minute warning, and when play resumes, it'll be 3rd down and 4.
And a first down would be the end of the ballgame.
Yes. Buffalo leading 26-20 as they let it run down to the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 4 when we come back. Well, it comes down to this now as the Miami offense hopes to get back on the field. Bennett and Talley discussing things on the other side. 3rd down and 4 for Buffalo. If they pick up the first down, the game is in effect over because Miami does not have a timeout. If they are stopped here and forced to punt, Miami is going to get the ball back. 2 minutes to go.
Defensively, you almost have to come with some kind of a blitz. Do something that's disruptive.
They give it to Thomas, and Thurman gets it to the 47-yard line. Your guess is as good as mine right now as to where they spot it.
It looks as though he's got it.
They gave him an unbelievable spot the last time.
It did look like he got it when he came down.
Yep. And he's got it. And that is it. So the Buffalo Bills are going to go 8-2. Miami's going to be 7-3.
They split their games in the division.
Right. But Buffalo, if these two teams wind up tied at the end of the year, the first tiebreaker would be head-to-head, and that's a wash, as Kelly with a kneel down here.
But Buffalo, with this win, would go to 5-1 in the division. Miami would go to 3-3. Meanwhile, close games this weekend. 10 games in the league decided by 4 points or fewer. This one will be decided by 6. But the point I'm making is that if these two teams wind up tied, let's say at 12-4, 11-5, or whatever, it appears that Buffalo at this point would have the advantage because of the better division record.
And Miami looking at quite a schedule. Houston is here next Sunday, and then they're at New Orleans and at San Francisco. Then the Raiders on Monday night. Buffalo, a little easier run of it. The Colts, they have Atlanta, then the Colts, the Jets, and Denver at home.
Well, we got what we thought we'd see tonight. Two doggone good football teams going at each other. And two sensational quarterbacks.
Great
showing
friends.
why they're both at the top of their game.
Great friends and great competitors. And a couple of very competitive mitters meet at midfield. Don Shula and Marv Levy.
So here are the Bills again. 8-2, best record in the conference, and at this very moment on this 16th night of November, the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Rich Stadium.
And it's snowing up there.
That's the story from Miami. We'll talk to you next week from New Orleans. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan